Twitch is no longer... Wait, hold on. That sounded weird. Twitch is no... Okay, sorry about the echo. Why does the microphone sound weird? Twitch is no longer auto playing the stream when I go live. Huh. Okay. Do I sound okay? Have you considered taking notes as you go along? Yeah, but I've never had to take notes for anything in my life when it comes to understanding a story. Live can reaction. I've had to take notes when going through like projects and stuff, but not when I'm trying to understand a story. And that's not because you know, I just don't need to. I just like to more like marinate in my head with what's going on. You know what I mean? I do wonder if there's already some stuff that I've missed or forgotten about. I like that the flower got bigger on the menu here. Looks cool. For no reason at all, where's my phone? Okay, we're good. Okay, my link is out. For this stream, I don't move my windows to the other one. I just have chat off to the right. So, but I still need to have the dashboard open. Give me a second. Any extended thoughts about the themes, narrative, and characters so far? Themes? What are those? What are themes? I do appreciate the first hour last stream was just pure fun and insanity, and the second hour indeed was like, yes, Daddy, tell me a story. Yeah, I think it went well. Yeah. I don't think we need to talk about it. I think it's all right. Yeah, I think it was very successful. Surprised how well I vibed with Greg. Not that Greg is not someone that, you know, people can't vibe with, but me, sometimes I'm kind of awkward. So, as I said on many times before on stream, I like mostly being by myself. I don't really like group dynamics with that sort of thing because I don't like to talk over anyone, that sort of thing. But we meshed really well. So I don't know, maybe it's just a good match, or maybe I've grown as a person and haven't realized it or anything like that. I don't know. Who knows? Did you have time to digest the wall of text in the credits of episode 1? It went by pretty fast, so I'm not sure you had time to absorb what you were reading at max speed. There's a lot of info in it. Is there a way I can see it again? Is it under tips? This one? Or... watch your own VOD back. Did you know Greg teaches voice acting courses? Does he really? Maybe I should take a course. Rakinjama. Okay, chat. So, I'm going to talk briefly about something for about, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. I'm going to try and get through this very, very quickly, and it's going to not be a surprise to some of you, but it's going to be a really big surprise to some of you, so sorry about that. But, I was going to do it on Tuesday, but I think I'd rather just say it now because it's overdue, okay? So, first of all, let me just say that Mommy and Daddy love you very much, and this is not your fault, okay? Lily and I have divorced, as many people have already figured out. We've been split for 2024 is kind of hazy to me. We've been split for about 4 or 5 months. It's amicable right now, but it wasn't amicable before. The split is not the reason why the video is not out, but the reasoning behind the split is. Does that make sense? I cannot talk about it more than that. And once again, the same information is true. If I did, you'd understand why, I think. I will not be answering questions. I will not be adding any more context or information or anything like that. I will clarify one thing, and because I know some people might speculate or it might be sensitive to some people. There was no infidelity involved or anything like that. Okay? And we're still currently cohabitating, but that's going to change as soon as possible. Okay? So, sorry to have to give you an update that is parasocial in nature, but it's kind of become kind of like a thorn. It's kind of blindingly obvious, you know what I mean? Like, it's some people have been talking about it, and yeah. So that is something that's going on. And I think that's all I have to say on the matter for now. If I think that I have to add some more to it, then I will talk a little bit more about it on Tuesday. But yeah. Okay. No wonder you're a gym bro. Now, gym bro predates it. By a little bit. That wasn't the reason. Well, let's not talk about it. You don't need to explain anything to anyone. Well, I do a little bit, I think. Okay. Where's this summary thing? It's not here. Tips. We checked tips already, didn't we? Don't think you can actually get a summary of it anywhere. You'd have to do episode 1 and load to credits and watch it again. Okay. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Click chapter 1, there's a chapter. Oh, is there really? So if I click episode 1, there's a chapter select. Oh, okay. You may perform witchcraft to jump forward in time. Cast a spell. So there is magic. Oh, look at the timeline. I didn't know there was a timeline. Okay, notebook fragment in a wine bottle. All right. So this one. And I'm gonna have to do even more magic that a witch taught me, that I need to wave this around to stop it. Here we go. Can I hold the button to make it go faster? Also, how are we doing for sound? No, moving the mouse doesn't work. Okay, I'm just gonna read in my head then. Okay, so far I remember all this. I'm not getting any new information. I think I processed it, but there was a part down here that I had to read really, really quickly. It reminds me of like Chrono Trigger music or something. I don't know what it is. Okay. Strange wine bottle that had drifted on the waves to the pier. A neighboring island was pulled out by a fisherman. Inside it was a thin, tightly rolled notebook fragment. Written upon it were cramped small letters. Okay, so Maria wrote a story and put it in a bottle? Is this what we just read then, maybe? I don't think so. I mean, that'll explain all the repetition. Maria, you know, at 9. What was it about finding her jawbone? Is that here? Yeah, here we go. A piece of her jaw was discovered. So part of her face got blasted off when Battler shot at the end, maybe? Okay, so this is weird. Why would Maria want people to find out the truth? Maybe her jaw just does that? This music sounds so much like something to me. I can't place it. Legend of Mana? Maybe it is Legend of Mana or Secret of Mana. Definitely in the Final Fantasy JRPG realm. Like a song I heard when I was growing up. Okay. I can't skip, I'm stuck. The spell has to be completed. Favorite scene from Umi 1? Oh, it has to 100% be the shed scene, because it was so shocking to me. Just completely gobsmacked. 100%. But I really liked the last scene with the tea party and everything too. That was good. I liked that oh, here we go. I remember these, the treasures. Okay, so it seems like they got what they wanted, and that's why they were in the tea party afterwards, and then Battler ruined it? Because that's why no one else was there. Huh. Natsui's final stand was really good. I really like Natsui a lot. And it's not just because of the brunette arc either. She's really good. Do you get more from bits or subs? I don't know. I don't know what the split is, to be honest. Whatever's more convenient for you is what you should do if you want to give some money. Thank you for the thought. For no reason at all, let me check in with Discord. Hey, how's it going? Okay, seems like we're good. All right. Okay, so my read on what happened yesterday at the end of stream is that paradoxically Beatrice both exists and doesn't, especially given the scene that happened after that too. It seems like a lot of this has to do, and I love this idea, I think about this idea all the time actually, the idea of belief, that if everyone on the planet believed the same thing, it would literally be true as far as our senses told us, right? Might not be objectively true if a bunch of aliens came to the planet or whatever, but like if everyone did, like it would just become true because everyone believes, right? So like why would anyone question anything like that, right? So I really like that idea of the power of belief. So it's such a fun, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it conceit or device? I'm not sure what exactly the word I'm looking for. It's really fun to have Battler literally talking to Beatrice saying you don't exist, and maybe it even makes sense. It's like if everyone just went along with it right now, she actually would exist, but she didn't exist until everyone went along with it to begin with. Therefore, it's like getting a fire started. It's like if once you get the fire started, it's really easy to keep going, but getting that first spark, you have to have a sense of belief that it's actually going to happen in order to make it go. So I kind of like that quite a bit. So my picking up of the story right now is that I believe that all of the murders that happened were not by the witch, but perhaps because almost everyone at the end, maybe even Battler was starting to cave a little bit and was starting to believe a little bit, really were bought in. She did materialize at the end, or some amount of magic did come into effect, and that's what the Tea Party represents at the end. Maybe. I still have no idea how to read the epitaph, though. That's what I would think. I also had the thought, which was, because of the toes, I've been thinking about the toes, and it established that, like, if I was building this mystery, I would definitely have, someone else in the story just so happens to have 6 toes, especially considering the story pointed out that it's hereditary and that it's also not that uncommon. The fact that they said that really makes me think that someone else might have the toes. But I also thought that maybe I had like fallen for some obvious misdirection about like it always being referred to as like red makeup on their faces and hiding their faces and all this shit, that like it's easy to conclude that maybe one of those corpses is wrong or just disguised. But it also, you can go the other way and say, oh, just because that Shannon and Kraus were killed because you could see that half their face was still there, therefore they're completely dead, those for sure. Well, if Nanjo is in on it in some way, then oh yeah, they're dead and no one checked, right? Like those could be the decoys. So really there could be just almost anything could possibly be on the cards there, right? And my like crackpot theory I had said yesterday about Genji like getting one of those hammers and knocking the door off its hinges and putting a new door on that, here's one I prepared earlier and had the ring already drawn on it. Can you knock a door off its hinges? Like put the chain on it, then close the door and then put the hinges back on? Could you do that? Could you lock a door like that? Because if you could, I don't know what side the hinges are on, but like if you could do that, then that would explain how the door got the chain locked on it, right? Like that would be because it does the fucking magic circle at the same time, right? But when it comes to the last murders, either someone killed themselves after killing the other two, or there is still someone left alive. So someone has absolutely faked their death. Yeah. So either way, someone is really committed to making this happen. Either the person that's really committed to making it happen killed themselves at the end, which I don't think is possible, but maybe they killed themselves at the end, or there's someone who faked their death that is really committed to making this happen and was operating through the house, making it all happen. That's what my conclusion is right now. Is this fun? You know what else is fun? Getting 50 gift subs. Holy shit. Thank you, LaRoche Monty. That's an absurd amount of gift subs. Thank you so much. Holy shit. And I'm probably not even saying your name right. LaRoche Monty? LaRoche Monty? Thank you so much. Did we all enjoy the stream yesterday? Probably an all-timer. Definitely a contender for creamiest individual stream of Jet Set 2025. Anyway, some quick thank yous. Oh, how was Raid with Kraken? It was good. So Kraken can be rated again. God, I would love it if Battler is standing there. I would you know what I'm like, okay? So I would love it if if Battler is standing there in front of Beatrice, and Beatrice is like, you know, sir, I exist, clearly, like, look at me, I'm right here. And Battler is like, yeah, sure, but you still didn't commit those murders, so you didn't do it right, so therefore you don't deserve to exist, therefore I'm not going along with it, even though I've already proven it to the, like, I can already see that you exist, so fuck you not doing it. Like, nah, like, it's just like so fucking, that's such an amazing fucking, like, position to be in, just like digging in, being like, no. Like, yeah, because I believed, and then you showed yourself to me a little bit, and then now you can show that you exist, but, you know, before that you didn't do all those things, so therefore you don't really, yeah, that's such an amazing like conceit again. I think it is. Anyway, thank you Axel87 for the resub. Umineko 3 times a week, alright. I don't think I can read it that often, sorry. I think I would get tired. This stream was I didn't get much sleep last night, so yeah, I don't know. Thank you Adros5 for the resub. Hey Joe, thanks for the awesome content. I'm glad the streams are back. Also, I'd like to use this platform to just say joms. Thank you Angie the Gorl for the resub. Gorl, I just finished the VOD. I'm so sad I missed yesterday's stream, but also excited for more Umipiko. Alright, this guy Greg, I'm thinking Goofy. Thank you Chido Tayson for the resub. Kyr Mall for the resub as well. Now time for the good part. Oh, I should probably say this. I'm gonna read some more subs, but I should probably say this. I have it on good authority, and also just from getting vibes in chat, that episode 2 is the worst part. So I don't know if we're gonna be continuing with the Umipiko for today, okay? Like we might have to pay some money into the Weeb Gambit investment fund in order to, you know, get some good payoff, okay? Like we'll see. All right, we'll see how it goes. Thank you Beanga9 for the new sub. All right then, 1 for the new sub too. Welcome to both of you. Thank you Onzen for the resub. Subscribe for the crane, stayed for the chandelier. Truly a swaying experience. Nice. Thank you Sphinx PhD for the resub. First started watching you in January 2024. Thank you for the extended break so I could understand all the stream lore by the time you came back. You're welcome. Thank you Chosen by Thug Life for the new sub. You don't choose it. Thank you Jelly for the raid. How's Warcraft 3 Jelly if you're still around? Thank you Diana Lesky for the gift sub. King 33411 for the resub as well. Thank you, Chefin, for the resub. Joe, greetings from 1 a.m. Indonesia. So excited for the stream. I have some chilled durian and a pack of Oreo. I already removed the fillings to snack. Okay, you need to clarify in chat, Chefin. You can at me in chat, or hopefully we'll catch it. Do you mean you remove the fillings so you only eat the fillings, or do you mean you remove the fillings so you only eat the cookie, the biscuit? This is very important for us to know. Thank you, Drinking Anxiety, for the resub. Ouroboros 188 for the resub too. Can I get a Clawfist? Clawfist, and maybe be welcome to the Dragon's Den. Welcome to the Dragon's Den, Ouroboros 188. It's been a while since I said that. Thank you, Zelanon for the resub. Welcome. Clawfist. Thank you, Bois, for the resub. Zorgox for the bits. Magic doesn't exist. Magic. Any for Prez, use some business to say, have to be a VOD boy because I'm doing a 10k early tomorrow. Oh, good luck with your 10k, fellow gym bro. Wish me luck. Yesterday's stream came together super well. Great job. Also need to get rid of these extra bits. Bonus bits. Thank you, Susie Boozy Woozy Goosey, for the resub. Was gonna resub during a Persona stream, but the Umineko streams are too cream. Can't wait to see what comes next. You know, I think we're maybe getting to the good part finally in Persona 3 too, so we're gonna have a good streak here. Umineko's gonna dip while Persona 3 rises. Stonks. Thank you, LaRoche Monty, again for absolutely generous 50 gift subs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Endo Velicus Flare, for the resub too, with a hug. Thank you, Fingy Pickling, for the resub. Finally, I can watch streams again. I didn't want Persona 3 spoilers. 2024 wasn't the same without streams. Yeah, it was a different one, yeah. 2025 is gonna be better. Thank you, Cissidace, for the bits. Be me, have finished episode 4, haven't thought about Pervy Battler in at least 15 hours. Hear that Umineko fighting game doesn't have any oh, is it safe for me to read? Any spoilers? Okay, it's fine. Any spoilers, so long as I get an older version. Fire up Battler in training mode, trying out his special move. One of them is him groping the opponent's chest. Wow. What are these moves? Even the guys? What are these dudes? Thank you, Comdonino? Hopefully I sound that right. Thank you very much for the new sub. Welcome. Thank you, Puka Boy, for the resub as well. Sub anniversary during Umineko. You love to see it. Absolutely loving the theorizing, Joe. It's peak. That's good. I'm glad people aren't bored of me trying to figure some things out. I really enjoy doing that on the mystery games that we've done. Surprisingly, we've done quite a few at this point. Like, even the weebiness of Danganronpa didn't diminish, like, how much I enjoyed doing that in that game. Thank you, Doodle Flesh, for 1,500 bits. Thank you so much. Thank you, Meta Magician, for gifting a sub to Kinzo is Dead. You fucking was burned in the boiler, that's for sure. Yep. Thank you, Villahista Wandering Pesto, for the resub. Now back to the non-game. Now back to the non-game with a Jom Z. Thank you, Avo Cuddles, for the new sub. Weku for gifting out 10 subs. Thank you much, Weku. Thank you, thank you. And the last search on my list is Tomo Koma with some bits. 500 bits. Filling Tower? Oh, are you making a tower with the bits maybe? Or Forgetasaurus for the resub. Ruthless Colita for the resub. Resubbed, kind of serious, but by any chance, have you seen and responded to Irene DMs recently? If there were any? Don't need to do it right now, just asking since I can now. What? I think so. I spoke to Irene a couple days ago. Was there one I missed? I don't remember. Okay, I'll check after stream. Okay. Thank you, Rainbow Road DUI, for the bits. And Ironwrath for gifting a sub to episode 2B. Thank you, Ironwrath. To be. Do you believe that Beatrice is actually evil, considering she's cute if she's real? I think you can't be that attractive without being at least a little evil. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start episode 2. Difficulty level is standard. Difficulty level is extreme this time. All right, I'm gonna reread this again just so we're all on the same page. By the way, is today the glorious day where chessboard metamorphosizes? Is that good to go, Merrick? I didn't talk to you about that one. Sorry, because I didn't get. I don't think we discussed it after the stream, and then we just moved on to different things. We could do that, sure. Should we do it during break? It should be like what I sent you. Okay, so she's ready to appear. I don't know. Does everyone believe in her? Good morning. The Golden Witch eagerly awaits your arrival. Please do grant her that wish. Were you able to get a good rest and perfect your strategy? The witch expects a lot from you and is more than ready to launch an assault right from the start. I also look forward to seeing your strategy. The difficulty level is extreme. The witch intends to make you surrender all at once. The story is very obviously fictional and fantastical in nature. That's even that is now a part of it. That even that is a part of the story. That's so clever. Holy shit. Okay, let me do a couple lines and then we'll see if the voices are too loud. George-sama, please look. They're so cute. Look. Shannon found a pair of hammerhead sharks swimming playfully in the tank and looked as excited as a grade schooler seeing an aquarium for the first time. I like aquariums. Oh. Yeah, they're really cute. Just like you. Look at this. This is like different outfits. Almost makes you want to eat them. I feel so sorry for them. Did you know? I hear the Japanese are the only people in the world who go to aquariums and say how delicious everything looks. Is that so? I'm sure even Americans and Italians would want to eat these. Those clothes look good on you. Really? Shannon clutched at her chest with both hands in embarrassment. What are these? She apparently felt like she was being made fun of for wearing these clothes she wasn't used to. Though George's face didn't show it, he'd actually said something so completely unexpected that it surprised even him. And he was as embarrassed as Shannon on the inside. However, when he saw how embarrassed Shannon was, he started to imagine he was teasing a girl he liked, and instead of embarrassment, a ticklish amusement welled up in him. This is how it's gonna be, huh? No, he wasn't just imagining it, he really was teasing the girl he liked. Before now, he wouldn't have expected to hear a line like that anywhere these days, not even in a manga or something. Paimon thinks you're teasing a girl you like. Oh, is it really Paimon? George? Who's Paimon? No one's here. Tell her you have to believe in me for me to exist. In fact, if he'd seen another couple acting like this, his first instinct would be to start throwing rocks at them. But even if someone were to start throwing rocks at us now, I'm sure they'd be no different than confetti celebrating our relationship. Now I can't even remember those lonely days when I felt jealous of couples who were completely oblivious to their surroundings. To use an old-fashioned phrase, these really are rose-colored days I'm living in. Rose-colored days? I've heard of rose-colored glasses or shades, but not rose-colored days. I'm so entranced that I barely notice that massive tank in the world's largest aquarium anymore. Instead, all I see are the expressions flitting across Shannon's face as she plays with the fish. It's amazing, isn't it? It's my first time seeing a tank large enough for a whale to swim in. I heard this tank is the biggest selling point here, and that it's the biggest in the whole world. Is that so? That's amazing. It's really wonderful. It doesn't even look like a tank at all, more like they sliced off a part of the sea with a knife and brought it here. That's not a bad line. Alright, people are asking me to do the tips. Ushiromiya George. I'm not seeing any emblems. Eva and Hideyoshi's son, an affable young man liked by everyone in the family. He is currently studying as an assistant for his father's company, and it seems he dreams of making it on his own one day. As the oldest of the four cousins, he acts as their leader and arbitrator. A young but experienced servant, she's normally calm and performs her job efficiently, but she messes up when she gets nervous. Furthermore, Shannon is nothing more than a pseudonym that she uses when on duty, not her real name. Okay, so are we in the Golden Land right now, and this is like the afterlife before the tea party, or is this a different timeline or what? Why do you have these tags? Huh. You're right. This really is a little sea. Despite its size, I hadn't thought of the tank as anything more than a tank. That's why I found her metaphor so interesting. Who are we? George? No matter how far humans broaden their experiences, they always end up viewing the world through the lens of their own values. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with people who have different worldviews. I voiced my thoughts on this. She responded. Does the manta ray have a face? True, this may not be the real sea, but if those little guys swimming in there believe it's the sea, then that's what it is. Even though they're inside a finite tank, the sea is finite too. Then again, even if the sea were infinite, how much could we cover in our whole lives? I'm sure it'd be only a minuscule fraction of the sea that we could see on the sea. See the face? You're right. It's ironic, isn't it? Even though the world is so vast, most of us humans live our lives without ever leaving our own country. If the inhabitants of a place believe they're living in a complete world, then even the bottom of a narrow well can be a wonderful world, an entire ocean, at least to the frogs that live there. Shannon, who spent her days as a servant on a small island 10 kilometers in circumference called Rakinjima, said that with a smile. Turn of the Golden Witch. Ushi Romia Battler. Oh. Are they all gonna be here? Oh, now they're justifying the opening that we had there. Oh, George, Jessica, Maria. Lick the clip. Lick the clip. It's gotta remember. Hold strong. Hold strong. Kinzo, Kraus, Eva, Natsui, Hideyoshi. They can't justify all the slowness in the beginning of episode 1. They can't justify it. Can always be cut in half. Rudolph, Rosa, Kyrie. I like Kyrie. Kyrie. Nanjo's still here? Goda? Cooking up some of the fish? Canon? Is this canon? Beatrice! Beatrice! Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. Maybe Chandelier? After we finished walking through the whole aquarium, we had a small late afternoon lunch at a restaurant with a nice view. The word buffet has the power to make any boy's heart leap. I was like that myself once, but with Shannon beside me, this buffet felt different. I couldn't shamefully pile on only things I liked. I don't really like buffets. I feel like buffets, the food quality isn't usually as good. I'm not a big buffet person, but maybe I just have gone to bad buffets. I'd rather just have a complete portioned meal than a buffet. I was, how should I put it, worried about my appearance and choose a menu suited for a snob. Toast, salad, and coffee. No Oxford comma. I hate this game. If I'd been myself, would have made a pile of oily stuff like yakisoba pan, mashed potatoes, gratin, and so on. Shannon, is that going to be enough for you? If it is, then I guess we men are animals with really bad fuel efficiency. That's not what I... On Shannon's tray, there was only tea and salad. Maybe the mere fact that I thought she was a whole plate short proved I was thinking with a man's stomach. Actually, I should be asking you the same thing. Don't you think men should eat a little bit more than that? I imagine you normally eat much more for lunch, right? Oh, called out. Oh, your honor as a man is on the line. Go get some more food, George. Oh, right. Dang. Come to think of it, you already know how much I eat normally because of meals I've had at the head family household. That's right. So I was worried you might have an upset stomach today. Shannon was kind enough to guess that I wasn't feeling well. Looks like my stupid attempt to show off made her worry. And apparently my stomach wasn't going to let me show off any longer. Gahaha. Okay, I'll confess. I was just trying to look cool. I held back just because I was with a girl. I thought so. Considering how much you eat during lunch at family conferences, I thought this wasn't nearly enough. Please, don't be so reserved, and feel free to go choose another dish. It's not fair for only me to be embarrassed. What about you, Shannon? Be embarrassed. How will you be able to keep up with the Ushiromiya family workload on such a sparse diet? They're dead, George. Did you forget? Did you forget? Do you think this is a fucking game? Because Shannon fell silent and blushed bright red. Apparently, I wasn't the only one showing off. When I realized that, my embarrassment disappeared completely. Oh, so that's not enough for you either, is it? Yeah, you usually eat a bit more than this for lunch. A woman's stomach is made of magic, so this is enough. What is this food gambit we're doing? So we've both been showing off to each other. Let's not hold back anymore, shall we? I smiled to show that I wouldn't make fun of her anymore and rose from my seat. After finally coming to Okinawa, it'd be a waste if we didn't eat some bitter melon. Man, I'll go get some fried bitter melon or something. Shannon, come with me. Come on, come on. Ah, yes. To anyone watching us, we might seem like an incredibly charming and embarrassing couple. Nope. But it's only after becoming a couple that you realize. To us, this exchange of words is everything, our entire world. That's why no matter how much everyone else stares at us with blank expressions, we never notice. Indeed, at this age, I finally understand the feelings of couples who want to endlessly flirt without any regard for their surroundings. After I returned with a plate piled up with fried food, Shannon arrived with a pretty cake. While laughing at our fake stoicism, we resumed our lunch. Even though it's a restaurant with a view of the sea, it's so cloudy. Can you confirm George's word? Being a teenager in this kind of situation is fucking awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, our window seats gave us a view of seaside scenery so grandiose that it extended even beyond our field of vision. However, because of the cloudy sky, we were only seeing a fraction of its usual beauty. That's right. If it were clear, we'd undoubtedly see a deep blue sea. Yep. I'll bet you're already used to the sea around Rockinjima, but the deep blue sea here would surely have been a sight to see. It's a real shame. Oh, but no matter how blue the sea is at work, it might as well be grey to me. But I'm not working today, so, apparently Shannon was doing her best to say an embarrassing line. What is this, negging? What the fuck is this? But I didn't let her get off easy. Okay. So close. If only you'd said, when watching the sea alone with you, George-sama, it looks deep blue no matter how gray it is. I'd have given you full marks and a prize. I'm sorry. Want to hear what the prize was? If you don't mind telling me. Okay, I'm not getting good vibes from this interaction at all. Is this a different kind of dynamic this time? Because she seems uncomfortable to me. No, I won't tell you. That's no fair. Maybe it's fine actually, I don't know. When I was in elementary school, I was always the kid who got bullied. When everyone teased me, I grew nervous and speechless to the delight of the bullies. Back then, I wondered why everyone teased me, but now, teasing Shannon like this, I understand why. This is so much fun. I can play with her... Sorry. I can play with her emotions however I please, and I can have them all to myself. Right now, I can't think of any greater pleasure, so that's why I have to go easy on her. It's not as though I want to make her feel embarrassed or upset. So I decided to be nice and change the subject. Best not to be too obstinate. When you finish your lunch, do you want to take a walk on the beach? Maybe the clouds will clear up and we'll get a beautiful view of the sea. That's right. I want to go see it. That's right, and in other words are very common phrases here, right? Yeah, let's do it. But that cake really does look delicious. Maybe I'll go get one of those too. You mustn't. If you eat cake after eating so much, you'll get fat. It looks like Hideyoshi-sama's blood is pretty thick in you, George-sama, so you'll get chubby if you don't take care. Okay, maybe it's fine then. She's talking back to him. That's fine. Shannon, you won't stop liking me if I get fat, will you? After all, I wouldn't stop liking if you got fat, or start liking you if you got fat. I didn't mean it that way. If you don't take good care of your body, it'll be bad for your health. Ew. Mother warns me all the time too. I wonder if I'll have to take up Tai Chi Quan or something like she does, and get some exercise. Oh yeah, she can do the kicks, right? When going on a diet, it's better to start by rethinking your eating habits rather than just exercising all the time. So true, Shannon. So unbelievably true. That absolutely. Apparently, the exercise only helps if you're eating well first. In other words, you're telling me to hold off on the cake, huh? Then I guess I'll just have to gaze at you while you stuff your cheeks with it, Shannon. Do you think Shannon's on creatine? A whole cake is probably too much. But maybe just half of one would be okay. Here, it's really delicious. Shannon cut her own cake and tried to move half to my dessert plate. I had no doubts that she wanted to share the delicious cake's flavor with me. However, I meanly pulled my plate away from her. She blinked in surprise. She couldn't seem to figure out if I was refusing the cake or not. So I winked, opened my mouth, and said, "Ah." Giggle. So that's what you really wanted. Sheesh, you're such a pampered child, George Sama. True again. So true. Giggle, so that's what you really wanted? Sheesh, you're such a pampered child. Oh, sorry. Okay, say ah. With a partly embarrassed, partly exasperated face, Shannon offered the cake to me with a fork. Chomp. It tasted like a cheap chocolate cake you might find anywhere. And yet it was exceptional, because eating cake in such an embarrassing way, as if it were a couple of perfect fools, had been my dream for many years. It made this cake's flavor heavenly. If the earth is destined to end, I wouldn't have any regrets if it happened right now. It was such a moment of bliss. After that, we gathered shells, ran from waves, and enjoyed each other's company while walking along the beach. In the end, the clouds never parted. This is all new, isn't it? However, we both believed that the sea reflected in our eyes was a deep blue. Somehow, I'm so happy that it scares me. You do say that from time to time. Has the tips updated? Oh, okay, so like once we see them, they'll be here then, I guess. Even though it showed the them in the title sequence, you do say that from time to time. Okay, this is kind of a scene break. Give me a second to say thank you to some people. I think it was Ruthless Kalita, right? Rainbow Road DUI, remember that one? Okay, I didn't get the joke the first time. I just thought it was a funny phrase, but Rainbow Road DUI, I get it now. Okay. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for doing these streams from KZ. They are extremely entertaining and are bringing a lot of good vibes to my life, for real. Please don't stop theorizing. Us Umi bros adore it, and I'm sure the rest of the chat finds it fun too. Yeah, this stream is gonna have to be pretty bad for me to drop the story at this point. I really want to see it to the end, and I just get so much bonus points just dunking on Steins Gate fans still. And hey, I haven't mentioned Steins Gate in a couple of these streams, so therefore, you know, I'm allowed. I'm due. That's my one for today. Here we go. Thank you, Dominic, for the bits. Remember, attractive plus evil equals morally gray. Yep. Big time menace. Yep. Thank you to Men of Answers for I'm ready to see the cliff today. Oh, it's right in the background. There it is. Thank you, Pimozidi for the resub. I'm surprised by how good Umineko is. I loved the Tea Party scene. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? And how the narrator changed to be so anti-battler. Thanks for the streams. You're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I wonder what the goal was with Battler in the beginning. I wonder if it was like to set you like on a different course. Is it just subverting expectations, or do we just is he only like that when he's spinning chessboards around? Like one on each index finger, like plates. Thank you, Spikes, for the resub, or Spixes. Thank you, Terraflop, for the 5 gift subs. Thank you very much, Terraflop. Thank you also for resubscribing yourself, Terraflop. Thank you, Clockwork Sam. Welcome. Thank you, Thaddeus Ex Machina, for the resub too. Hey Joe, it's been great seeing you stream again. You're the only streamer I really watch regularly. That seems to be common, actually. Yeah. I don't know how we've built like our own little isolated community on the website, but it seems like there's not a lot of overlap between our viewership and other people. It's like, I think it's maybe like 10%. Like most people who watch me only watch me. So odd streamer, I guess. And like one of 3 streamers I watch on Twitter. Oh, there we go. 4 if you count me editing my own VODs. Oh, thanks also for playing my favorite Persona game and this incredible weeb crap. All right, you got us. You got us in the end. You got us. Thank you, Super Forsooth, for the new sub. Welcome. Thank you, Iron Wrath, for gifting a sub to George is Fat. George looks pretty good here, I gotta say. I wonder what the original sprite would look here, or did it even get a new original sprite? Thank you, Rede, for the resub also. Thanks for the amazing streams, Joe. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Rede. You do say that from time to time. What is it you're afraid of? I'm a servant of the Ishiromiya family. For someone like me to be walking like this with a member of the family, it just felt like it was too much for me. I'm also surprised I didn't just meet you yesterday or today, Shannon-chan. We've known each other for years now. However, we can only meet during those family meetings that only happen a few times a year. Back then, what's this then? Back then, I couldn't even imagine having the sort of relationship where I could spend time with you like this. It was the same for you too, right? Real quick chat, did I miss... Am I supposed to know what year it is? Did it say? I don't think it did, right? Okay, thank you. I did imagine it. No, I mean, maybe I should call it a kind of daydream. I did think about what it'd be like being in a relationship with you, a boy who was always so gentlemanly and considerate. That makes me feed him cake. Though it was only ever a fantastic daydream that you believed. Then we must have your believing heart to thank for our relationship. Oh man, they know what they're doing. Magic dwells in the power of love, so I'm sure that magic brought us together. A lot of cackle-eating on the part of the writer during this section. You're right. I really do think it was magic. But you know, that's not actually true. As you kept looking more and more beautiful every year, you became a larger and larger presence in my mind too. If the same thing happened to you, then the fact that we're here today is simply an inevitable consequence rather than something caused by magic or a miracle. No, a miracle did happen, George-sama. She stopped walking down the beach, gazing out beyond the sea. A miracle? No, it was magic. It happened. I was bewildered by that slightly mysterious phrase which I sometimes heard her use. Magic, you say? Yes, magic. In this version, you're the Maria. I doubt you'd believe me even if I explained, so I won't, but this bit of magic definitely had the power to grant the miracle that brought us together. Are you talking about some kind of ritual? Yeah, you might call it something like that. Except that it really was magic, not just some ritual. Maybe it's all girls, not just Shannon, who tend to treat encounters as miracles or coincidences. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl is 70% hard work to try and make her like you, 20% courage, and 10% coincidence. The part that means everything to her is a much smaller factor in my mind. Maybe that way of thinking itself is calculating and typical of men. But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve all kinds of magic. To my mind, there were lots of coincidences, compromises, and expended effort on both sides before we gained the relationship we have today. At the culmination of all that, we get to spend this joyful time together. And if she wants to call that magic, I've got no objections to her choice of words, so I'll stand up for that magic. You're right. If the same fate were repeated 100 times, maybe you and I could get into a relationship like this only one of those times. Doctor Strange, in the other instances, even though we'd be aware of each other, maybe we would have only maintained a reserved relationship after all this time. From the perspective of those other me's and you's, you and I are undoubtedly in a miraculous relationship right now. That's not what I meant. It really was magic, idiot. No matter how often you tell men something like this, they'll never believe it. Oh, you're on the same bullshit. Okay. You know what? They're meant for each other. Canon-kun didn't believe me at all either. I believe you. I'd hate for the magic to fade away because I didn't believe in it. George-sama. In a small voice, I apologized for saying something that trivialized her magic. Shannon seemed to be glad to hear me say that. After all, if two people believe in the magic of love, it becomes eternal. Oh, that's right. I was wondering if you'd be willing to agree to a little whim of mine. Yes? What is it? You call me George-sama, right? It's not that I dislike it, but would you consider not calling me that anymore? Of course, you have to keep up your appearance with the Ushirima family, so I wouldn't force you to do so during your everyday routine on Rockinjima. Is it gonna be the same bit, like if it was an order I'd have to obey it, or? But when we're alone, I'd rather you didn't call me that. Yeah, let's make that a rule. Rule? A rule? What would happen if I violated that rule? Maybe we should have some kind of punishment game if you break the rule. What are we doing, George? Yes, what should it be? Want to hear? No, I don't want to hear. I'll have to think about what it should be. Okay, George. Son. Yeah, I love the way that sounds. I'm so happy, Shannon. I also have another name. It's Sayo. I see. The rule's got to be fair after all. I'll follow it too, and from now on, I'll call you Sayo. Okay, so I did say it right. I heard him just say it. Sayo. Not Sayo, Sayo. Okay, Sayo. Yes. What's your punishment if you don't? I held her shoulder and drew her close. When I forcefully pulled her delicate body towards me, she dove into my chest like a doll. As I held her in my arms, we both looked at the horizon. What a deep blue sea. I'm so happy we got to look at this sea, just the two of us. Me too. My mom likes it too. I'm so glad we have to have a chance to look at this deep blue sea with you. It's so deep, it's so blue, not gray at all. Deep blue sea. As we gazed at the gray sea, what do you mean it was blue? And a light rain began to sprinkle down. We kept listening to each other's heartbeats. Heartbeats make me uncomfortable. Maybe when it's only my own. You ever try to fall asleep at night and you can feel your heartbeat or your pulse in your ear because you're too close against your pillow or something? I hate being able to feel my own heartbeat. The sound of waves flows into my ears. No, it's the sound of an enraged sea. My body, bathed in painfully cold splashes, does not allow me to forget. It won't let me forget the memories of the day my old fate was broken and smashed. Once, tomorrows were literally like looking into a mirror. All I ever saw there was the person I already was. Tomorrow was absolutely no different from today. That was my old fate. But then, for the first time, I saw a different fate beyond the mirror. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite out of the fruit of knowledge. She torments me, saying I'll be furniture as long as I stay in God's paradise. So I decided to choose the path of knowing love and tried to become a person. Those days were like sweet honey, but at the time, I didn't realize that they'd be the start of a new kind of suffering. Okay, so far, I'm enjoying this? Am I brain rotted, or is it okay so far? It's a little repetitive, but so far, I feel like there's like this undercurrent of tension going in the scene right now, and they're having like these like, you can't believe it still counts as subtext talks about the magic and belief and shit. You know what I mean? But it's still there. It's something. You know what I mean? Like it's not too bad so far. I've arrived at a small island on a motorboat. I've only just learned how to use. No. Oh, here's the cliff. It's right here. No, this can hardly be called a small island. It's little more than a rock jutting out of the water. On this rock is a torii and a small shrine. It was probably built to worship the guardian deity of Rockinjima. Even though I don't know exactly what it signifies, I know it has to be something holy. Is this the one that was hit by lightning? Even in a place like this, I've got to take just one more look around to see if there's anyone who might get mad at me for coming. Excuse me. I see nothing but the stormy ocean, Najima looming in the distance, and the waves breaking against Rockinjima's steep cliffside. I ready myself, timidly approach the small shrine, and take the mirror that lies there as an offering. The mirror looks old, cloudy, and dirty. That would probably make any normal mirror seem horribly cheap. However, since the mirror has been placed in a small shrine, its appearance seems to give some sort of divine quality to it, and there's one thing I can tell. This is no simple mirror. It may seem like an old, battered mirror to a non-believer like myself, but it has a great significance. Is it really okay to break this after being captivated by honeyed words? No, this isn't really a mirror. This is the life I couldn't escape until today. My fate. I'll break it. I'll smash it and seize the life that lies beyond this mirror. If I don't smash it, my life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever. Nothing will ever change in the slightest. The witch whispers to me, "She's back." She tempts me to take a bite of the fruit of knowledge. Or maybe I've already tasted of that fruit. After all, I've experienced those maddening emotions. Just as Adam and Eve felt compelled to pluck their fig leaves, I can no longer go on without breaking this mirror. I've struggled with conflicting emotions for many days before this moment. Inside my heart, the virtuous part of me kept on fighting the part that sides with the witch. And now, here I am. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? There's only one thing I know. To obtain something, you must be ready to lose something. Cowards who don't risk anything, who never try to change anything, will never be given the key that opens the path to a new future. That key is already in my hands, and that key is to break this, to smash it. Is there any other effort I can make as furniture imprisoned in Rockinjima? No. This is the only way for me. Come, have courage. Who's talking then? Furniture? Is it Canon or is it Shannon? It's not George, is it? Maybe George thinks he's furniture? I'll free myself from being mere furniture. And by accepting a new kind of suffering, I'll become human. This is surely a small yet large trial I must impose on myself. Come on, smash it. Smash. I'll smash to pieces the eternally unchanging fate that imprisons me. I raise the mirror high. I think back on the days of conflict that came before, and finishing my reflections in the blink of an eye. Oh shit! I throw it away, something like that? I throw it down, okay. The thunder roars, crying out against me for my outrageous act. It truly is the hatred of angels trying to banish me from eternal paradise. I look down at the mirror, tumbling at my feet, broken in 2 equal parts, and after making sure I've accomplished my task, I scream up the raging skies. Oh, it's Shannon! I've kept my promise. Now, it's your turn to keep yours, right? Thunder roars once more. I've already been banished from paradise, so I'll have to struggle on my own if I want to live. The witch told me. That is the single element of this world. To lose it means losing the world. Like how a canteen with a hole in the bottom can't be filled no matter how much water you pump into it. I've kept my promise. Now it's your turn to keep yours. Please, grant my wish. Beatrice-sama! I don't want to be a George anymore. He steals my... Oh! Every episode is gonna go into this after someone screams Beatrice. I love this song. Okay, so far it's the same. Smile. What are these boobs? Oh man, big Chrono Cross vibes for the 3rd time. This has no business being this good. Oh, it's the bottle with the letter in it! I understand! Welcome to Rockin'. And there's the bird that dropped it! In league with Maria. Maria's a bird! That's why they didn't find her! My mind wandered. Back to the days when I could barely imagine the happiness I have now. I was a middle schooler at the time, a normal girl who thought about love as much as you'd expect of someone at that age. But in truth, it was wrong of me to have that dream. Okay, so was that scene that we just saw with her on the cliff? Was that how the shrine was struck by lightning after the mirror was broken? Is that where it went, or is there like a broken chronology here that some of the scenes we're seeing are from reality and other ones are from like Golden Land or whatever? I don't know what that scene on the beach was. That's definitely not at the same time That's definitely not the same George and Shannon that did the proposal outside the mansion, because they had the exact same talk again. So it's not the same. It might be them. It might be the same as them, but in a different land. But maybe that Shannon is the Shannon that we knew from last time. After all, I am furniture. Furniture is nothing more than a tool, not a human. As a person less than human, simply receiving an education was an enormous blessing. So in reality, even thinking about falling in love was more than I deserved. The Ushiromiya family conference was a customary event held every October, but relatives sometimes visited at other times. Of course, they didn't just come to drink tea. Oh man, don't recognize it without the blood. On this day, Eva's family was visiting the head family on Rakenjima. The 3 members of Krause's family and the 3 members of Eva's family had gathered in the parlor and were having a friendly chat about recent events. Genji had supposedly told Kinzo of Eva's family's arrival, but he still hadn't come down. He was probably immersed in his research and couldn't spare the time. This often happened, so the others waited patiently for their fickle father to arrive. Oh, how promising. Make sure you work hard under your father, building the skills you'll need if you want to lend him a hand soon. They're all back! And now the emblems are back too. Okay. This is the same. I really like her. I think she might be better than Kyrie right now. I don't know, because she got more screen time. If Kyrie gets more screen time in this version, maybe Kyrie will take it over. I really like her. Like number 2 after Battler, I think. Battler is really growing on me. I like it whenever Battler's on the screen, I'm like, hell yeah. Whenever Battler's not on the screen, I'm like, where's Battler? I really enjoy Battler's bullshit. Because he's literally me. In the absence of any irregularities, it is thought that she... Okay, I think we read this before. Okay, unless chat screams at me right now, I'm going to guess that all of these are the same. Okay, is this... This is the same as what we just had. Okay. You know what? Let's also save it. Thank you very much. I've learned countless precious things from the many experienced people Father has introduced me to, and these were all things I could never have learned in school. When you're in school, it's not math and language you're learning. What they're really teaching you is the right outlook and attitude for learning more. Once you've got that base, you can finally start a long period of study that'll last your entire life. Gotta hate to see it. I'm agreeing with Hideyoshi. Most important skill to have is reading comprehension, which, as you can tell when I stream, I am so good at. People who don't get this end up spending their whole lives as fools who never learn. Just getting full marks in math and language won't do you any good at your company. Indeed, that is exactly right. Hideyoshi-san, your style of education never fails to impress. George isn't quite a full man yet. He'd better always keep that in mind and embrace his studies and eat more cake. Stop it, dear. George is always giving it his all, right? Truly admirable. Okay, so do you dress like this whenever you all the time, or whenever you're visiting? You got a tattoo? That's hardcore. Oh my god. Or when you're, or is it like a temporary stick-on from where you visit, or like is it only when you visit home you dress like this, or did they just not have a sprite? I guess. Truly admirable. I wish our Jessica would learn from him. Hardcore, maybe hardcore is not the right word. Man, a tattoo. No, I mean like she's really committed to the family bullshit. If she had the emblem like just permanently tattooed, you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean by hardcore. It's not the right word. Sheesh. Are you still holding a grudge about that test score? I'm studying for tests the best I can. At least don't say it here. Pissing me off. Once people started praising George for his diligence, the conversation usually turned to Jessica, who hated studying. Jessica made an openly displeased face as though she'd known this would happen. My. Schoolwork aside, it seems Jessica had better learn to choose her words a little more gracefully. How improper for the single daughter who bears the weight of the Ushiromiya family crest. Come now, she's quite appealing in her own way, isn't she? Times change. The time when we had to act all modest to entertain men ended long ago. Tell it to Shannon. That's right. I knew you'd understand, Aunt Eva. Haha, my headache is truly trying today. Are you okay? Aunt Natsui, you're looking a bit pale. Thank you, I am fine. Still, time really has flown. It feels like just yesterday when you would run around half naked by the beach and come back soaked. Wasn't your Jessica-chan the same? Are we being nice? Is it just because the kids are around, or is it different this time? And now she's a lady who fusses over how to put on makeup. I see you focused on your eyebrows. You look really cute today. Thank you very much. No one noticed, so I was a bit unsure of myself. A full smile rose to Jessica's face as the results of her own studies were finally appreciated. Makeup callback? Eva smiled back in the same way. Then she turned that smile towards Natsui. Come on, Natsui-ni-san. You must take notice of small changes in your own child. Poor Jessica-chan. You probably want— ah, there it is! You probably wanted your mother to notice first, didn't you? Oh my god. There it is! No problem, no problem. That person never notices anything. Holy shit, Jessica. I cannot condone you speaking of your mother in such a fashion. Apologize. Later, I will speak at you at length about your language. If you don't want kids getting in your way, just say so. I'm gonna take a step outside. It's getting stuffy in here. Jessica. Jessica was still at the age where tests and entrance exams are pretty nerve-wracking. Recently, she clashed often with her mother, who was enthusiastic about her education. Excuse me. Kya? Jessica, who was trying to leave the parlor in a bad mood, bumped into Shannon, who was pushing a serving cart filled with tea. Shannon, no need to worry about my tea. I'm just gonna go wander around the garden. Milady. Shannon, the tea is getting cold. Serve it quickly. But my apologies. Shannon hadn't actually done anything wrong, but Natsui, who felt like something shameful to herself had been shown, lashed out at her emotionally. This was, I don't know if this is gonna be, maybe open us up to spoilers, so if chat doesn't think it's a good idea, then we don't have to do it, but like, just, I'm curious, having a poll in chat right now, how many people think Beatrice is real or not? Would that be a fun poll, or did we already do that poll and I missed it, actually? Like, do we think she's real or not? That was something that often happened in the Ushiramiya family. But it seems Shannon wasn't strong-willed enough to just accept it and move on. Bad idea, really? Okay. She shrank back and cowered while serving the tea. She had the unfortunate habit of making more mistakes when she cowered. Her pitiful appearance ruined the peaceful atmosphere that had existed a moment before. It wasn't really Shannon's fault, but she thought she might be the source and felt a pressure on her chest. Her shaking fingers made the utensils clang, and you couldn't have called it graceful, not even just to be polite. The more pitiful she appeared, the greater the silence grew. Best girl poll, though? Natsui won by a landslide. Wow! 55% of the votes. Kyrie was second with 19%. Eva was third with 16%, and then it clicked up. I think maybe it was Jessica was last. The more pitiful she appeared, the greater the silence grew. The more irritated Natsui looked, and the more Shannon cowered. Shannon's thin neck felt like it was being suffocated and choked by the reaper known as stress. At that time, George spoke brightly, blowing away the stiff atmosphere. This smells nice. But you should absolutely ask the crane if Beatrice is real. My weeb, we already did! And the crane said no! This smells nice. What kind of black tea is it? It's from the witch. This is, I don't know, I found it in this weird wooden box in the back of the cupboard with all this red paint with circles around it. No, don't say it. I'll guess. It's a very distinctive smell, so I probably know it. Is it Earl Grey? I think it probably is. I've had Earl Grey and I didn't like it. It kind of tasted like drinking the peel of an orange, but maybe I should try it again all these years later. Yeah, I'll bet it's Earl Grey. When you get back to the kitchen, check the tin. Oh. George-kun, you know a lot about black tea, don't you? One of the company presidents who's looked after me was very knowledgeable about black tea. I managed to pick up a little while listening to him discuss the subject. Oh yeah, the president of Okanogi Foods. Yep, that sort of trivia is that guy's specialty. The names of black teas often refer to the places they're made, right? So, did this come from a place with that name? From what I've heard, there was a person called Earl Grey in England long ago, and it was named after him. John Earl Grey? Furthermore, this distinctive smell doesn't come from tea leaves, but from a fruit called a bergamot, which is a relative of the mandarin orange. Oh, it is orange! Okay. Is that so? I never knew that. Learning things like that makes tea taste all the more delicious. Does it? Same thing goes for alcohol and cigarettes. Luxury items have a taste of romance. No one's stuff like this deepens the taste. It's the same as reading the list of benefits on a medicine bottle. Natsui-Nissan, you should try reading the explanation on your favorite headache medicine someday. Giggle, 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 giggle. That's a wonderful idea. Try it tonight. Yes, I'll do so. Shen, try opening that pot. You should find some dried bergamot mixed in with the tea leaves. Yes, it's in there. Something like dried orange peel is mixed in. Right on. Yes, that's probably bergamot, the main ingredient in Earl Grey's scent. Oh, I was right! It does taste what it is! Oh, damn! The scent is vivid, so you might expect the taste to be intense, but it's still gentle and easy to drink. If you make it with milk, the scent should become more mild, which works great. If there's anything left in the pot after you've poured for everyone, you really should try drinking it with milk. Ah, yes. Thank you very much. George gave her a small wink. Shannon finally realized that George had kind-heartedly swept aside the tense atmosphere in the room. God damn, he's so good at that. Can't believe he's still single. And he had done it for the sake of Shannon herself, a cowering servant. The Ushiromiya family did not pamper their servants, but they did pay them well. Any display of awkwardness would be harshly punished. So it was rare for them to be given a helping hand like this. Thanks to George's kindness, Shannon managed to regain control of herself and finish serving tea without further incident. As long as she stayed calm, she could carry out her work elegantly and flawlessly. By the time the black tea was laid out on the table and its elegant scent filled the room, the atmosphere had completely returned to its former peaceful mood, and everyone praised George's knowledge. Shannon wanted to thank him for saving her, but it didn't look like she would get the chance, because she died. So she decided to at least thank him inside her heart, praying to God that George would hear it as she pushed the serving cart away. George Nissan always lends a helping hand at times like that. By changing the topic or something, Shannon and Jessica were in the rose garden. Jessica still hadn't returned to the parlor after getting into a fight with her mother and was nonchalantly killing time here. When I think back on it, I get the feeling this wasn't the first time he's helped me like that. Whenever I made a careless mistake and George was around, I'm pretty sure he'd always naturally smooth things over and restore harmony. Maybe it wasn't something as direct as picking up a fork that had been dropped. Who the fuck? But that was his way of caring. Even servants have their pride. They want to fix their own mistakes by themselves. And if a guest lends them a hand, they'll lose face. He's really good at reading between the lines when stuff like that happens. Well, I guess it's kind of like an art to him. That guy's more of a show-off than he looks. That's not true. I think he's a really wonderful person, and I love him, and I won't let you besmirch him. Shannon, you haven't fallen in love with George Nissan, have you? For once, Shannon had disagreed with Jessica in a slightly forceful tone, which immediately caught Jessica's attention. No, that's not it, I think. Come to think of it, I've hardly heard any stories about George Nissan and love. I think I remember hearing him say that family-oriented girls were his type, didn't I? Sweet, that fits you perfectly, Shannon. Because you're practically family, it does. How could... I am not... actually, you might literally be family, considering what we learned last stream. Suitable for such a thing. Oh no, not suitable? Like hell you aren't. You've known him so long, you're practically a childhood friend. They say that when you start from a natural relationship where you don't think of one of the other as a member of the opposite sex, things start to move pretty fast once you finally start thinking about it. There's no doubt Jessica loved teen magazines with this kind of story, and she was always getting excited talking about that kind of thing with her friends. What if that was true? What would she be? Depending on the time, she would be George's aunt, or half cousined, depending on if Kinzo had a mistress, it will just air quotes Beatrice, right? And he had kids with her. Then if Shannon is a child from that relationship, she would be George's aunt, right? But if the child that he had with Beatrice had their own kids, then it would be. Why am I getting question marks? What are you talking about? She's from an orphanage. Yeah, but they said they last stream at the end in this study, they were talking about how maybe he could have had kids with his mistress, and that they might have been sent to the orphanage. There was some talk about that. Okay, maybe I'm okay. Maybe maybe I dreamt that part. She was very quick to pick up on love stories like this. She wasn't so this wasn't the first time Shannon had been exposed to this kind of story. But this certainly was the first time she started thinking of George as a member of the opposite sex. She was furniture, while George was nightstand. Sorry. Sorry. It was an honored guest member and a member of the Ushiroya family. Until now, she assumed that even imagining any deep relationship with him would be impermissible. So she hadn't thought of it. Since it was someone else's problem, Jessica poked fun at it, seeming to enjoy herself. Okay, it's important not to forget that line where, like, Shannon was gonna let Battler touch her because furniture and you're an honored guest. That was really fucked up. What's that about? It was all Shannon could do to hide her blushing cheeks. If George were to appear at a time like that, she'd have no chance of keeping her cool. They saw George come out from the entrance hall of the mansion. It looked like he'd seen them as well. He headed over, waving his hand. Shannon had to frantically try and regain her ordinary composure before George reached them. Grandfather finally came down. Now they're having an adult... Oh! I'd like to see Kinzo interacting with the family, please. Now they're having an adult discussion, so they chased me out. Haha, escaping then was the right choice. It'd be better to kiss the angel of death than look at grandfather's face. You shouldn't speak that way, but you know, I think grandfather might think of us as angels of death. After all, we came here to talk about borrowing money for business reasons. That's right. This wasn't the customary annual October family conference, because it was September. Eva's family had visited to apply for a business loan from the head family. Kinzo had vast resources, and he lent those out to his children. Of course, they didn't borrow money because they were living in poverty. How would they expand their businesses with the vast sums they wanted to borrow? How much interest would be attached, and how long would they have to repay it? This wasn't the sort of loan designed for the poor. It was a loan for those who were on the offensive. Kinzo strictly judged whether it would be worth lending out his fortune, and afterwards he strictly oversaw its use. So Rakinjima would, I don't even know if I'm saying it right anymore, would sometimes play host to the spectacle where relatives visited and described their businesses to Kinzo. To the parents, these meetings burdened them with the strain of having to move a vast amount of money. But to Jessica, who lived on this isolated island called Rakinjima, it was a precious opportunity to meet up with her cousins. So being able to talk with the occasional guests such as George like this immediately cured the bad mood she'd gotten from that fight with her mother. My family's totally stingy too. They've probably got money to spare, so why not lend it out graciously? Dad and grandfather will probably get pig-headed and act all important. It's natural to be prudent when lending money. Of course, my father will use what he borrows to expand his business, and he came with a plan that promises a solid probability of repayment. Everything else is left up to the presentation. But I really wish I could watch from the corner and learn. Mother chased me out. I'm a little let down. It seems the master still tends to scold Kraus-sama and Iwa-sama as if they were kids. I'm sure she didn't want to let her son see that. As Shannon hung her head, she thought back to a scene familiar to those who worked in the mansion. 1 second, chat. I need to turn the air on in here. I had the window open all morning, but it's still, it's getting hot in here now again. And I don't want to open the window again because someone might hear me outside, like, yelling, "You beautiful story!" Even Kraus, who acted haughtily toward his siblings, was still treated like a child by Kinzo. Shannon herself had often seen Kinzo slap Kraus and tell him to sit up straight. It was probably very embarrassing to be coarse like this, like that at his age. It's winter. I run hot, man. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just warm all the time. Taking care to avoid being present at times like that. I realize how I just said that. I'm sorry. Was one of the important responsibilities held by the servants working here. However, the fact that Shannon had ended up witnessing such a scene meant that she'd messed up at least once in the past. Yes, imagine so. Maybe figuring that out and staying away is part of a child's duty. That aside, the flowers in this garden are truly splendid this year. George stretched as he said that, and he smoothly changed the subject away from one that was a little gloomy. This time, Shannon noticed it too. This person, George, could sensitively figure out the situation and always change the subject to something harmonious out of kindness. It was so smooth that Shannon hadn't noticed it until today. Today, Shannon really had to admire the way George did that. Of the boys close to Shannon's age that she'd known, nearly all had been classmates during her period of mandatory education, but they had all been young and none had possessed the composure George had. Mere moments ago, he'd been just another guest, but right now, she couldn't help but think of him as something more. However, such thoughts were mere distractions from her work as a servant. Shannon tried to chase them away with a small shake of her head. SMH. What's up? No, it's nothing. Shall I make some tea? I will prepare some more of that Earl Grey. So you've remembered the name of that tea. I'm glad. Thank you for your concern back then. Shannon was finally able to put her gratitude into words. If you wrote it out, it wouldn't be very long. Thank you. But Shannon had needed a little spark of courage to say it out loud. But George played dumb. What do you mean? I don't remember doing anything I should be thanked for. Heh. He seemed to be playing the gentleman in his own way, letting her know he wasn't doing it out of a desire for gratitude. George's response seemed to be more or less exactly what Jessica had predicted. She couldn't help but burst out laughing. When's someone gonna die? See, isn't he a bit of a show-off at times like this? No, that's not... Jessica poked fun at Shannon as the latter remained silent, red-faced. George didn't know the details, but he naturally joined in, laughing the same way. The three of them lazily walked around the garden, catching up on recent events. George, as the oldest cousin, talked about his life experiences. Jessica talked about recent life on Rakinjima, and Shannon talked about her recent work. And they kept going on about these trivial things. Even when Shannon heard the others talk about deeply interesting things, she never felt any particular interest in the actual content of their stories. She was nothing more than a servant, and she had no intention of delving into her master's lives. She simply wanted them to enjoy their time speaking with her, and would only pretend to listen intently and nod at the right moments. But for some reason, the things George talked about today seemed to catch her interest powerfully. Even things she'd normally ignore felt like they contained a trace of kindness behind the words. For some reason, she wanted to know more things about George, no matter how trivial. So, she stared fixedly at him. She thought that, as far as looks went, this Ushirimiya George was probably about average and didn't stick out in any particular way, but he was diligent, serious, and had a deep prudence which allowed him to understand people's hearts and show concern. But she'd never noticed these things before now. She may not have met him many times, but she'd known his face for many years. Even so, she hadn't noticed it once until now. Shannon, embarrassed by her own obliviousness, blushed. George, perhaps thinking that Shannon would listen intently to his stories, kept talking happily and at length about things he'd done and seen. But Jessica didn't miss that slight change in Shannon, so she decided she'd change the conversation to the topic she was sure Shannon was much more interested in: George. Oh yeah, come to think of it, George Nissan, have you finally gotten a girlfriend or what? Ooh, where did that come from? Normally, that reaction should have been answer enough, but for some reason, as she was now, Shannon wouldn't be able to understand it unless he said it clearly. George-sama is very nice. So I'm sure he's not single. Can't believe he's not, actually. He's very popular. Well, quit it, Shannon. Isn't cornering him like that actually pretty mean? I wasn't trying to be mean. Well, I'm flattered that you have that mistaken impression of me, but unfortunately, I still haven't had a relationship with any particular girl. After all, my looks are below average, as you can see, and I can't speak tactfully in a way that can entertain a girl. I don't think that's true, and I think a man's charm is decided by something that can't be measured by his appearance. That's why, I think you might be considered a very attractive man, George-sama. Shannon was being uncharacteristically verbose. She hardly ever spoke at such length. George seemed fairly pleased to hear someone applaud his charm like this, but he was just a little surprised at the sudden high praise. Jessica, now sure her guess was spot on, appeared to be barely holding back laughter. Thank you, Shannon. I hope I do bump into a girl who's generous enough to feel attracted to me before too long. Yes, I'm sure you'll run into one. Bump, I'm sure there's at least one. In fact, I'm very sure, certain. No, a lot of girls who will recognize your real charm. She probably wanted to say that there was at least one girl very close to him. No. Shannon avoided saying that very much, drawing a final line as a servant. But Jessica's his cousin. What the fuck are you doing? Really? I guess I'm kind of embarrassed. He had probably never been praised as heavily by a girl before. George's face turned as bright red as Shannon's. As she watched the two of them, Jessica giggled sadistically. You're welcome, bro. Well, I'm sure you'll eventually bump into a wonderful partner, Georgie-san, but I doubt you'll be able to properly escort your partner as you are now, right? It looks like you're diligent, but you've completely abandoned your study of that. Sorry about that. I'll start studying that bit by bit. And how do you plan to do that all by yourself? Are you gonna watch romance movies or something? Or are you gonna learn from Uncle Hideyoshi? Well, you're acting pretty triumphant. Men are no match for girls when it comes to this sort of thing. Okay, so this is definitely not the same timeline that we were just on the beach. This feels like the real timeline to me. It's gotta be, yeah. Normally when George and Jessica got together, their parents would say George is diligent and admirable and Jessica is lazy and rude. So it was probably unbearable fun for Jessica to have their roles finally reversed. George realized this as well, so he resigned himself to being the one getting teased for once. So, Georgie-san, as long as you're okay with it, why not practice a bit with Shannon? It'll be your job to keep Shannon entertained all day long on a date. What do you think? What are you... Milady? When she heard Jessica's audacious plan, Shannon's face turned bright red with a poof, and a donut of smoke started to rise from her head. Can I see it? That's a very tempting plan, but I wouldn't want to burden Shannon-chan. It'd just end up wasting one of her precious days off, wouldn't it? I'd be butting in on that sacred time that she should be spending alone with someone she really likes. I couldn't do something so boorish. I also, don't have a person I have feelings for or anything, so, there's no need to hold back for my sake. Shannon's blood had all rushed to her head, and it looked like even she didn't know what she was babbling about. Jessica, who knew how Shannon normally was, seemed to be finding this hilarious. She couldn't hide her cackling laughter anymore. Is that true? I can't believe a cute girl like you would be single, Shannon-chan. I'm a servant, so, of course I don't have any relationships with boys, Which means that if Shannon ever wants a chance at getting herself a wonderful guy, she needs to practice with relationships too, right? So you both want the same thing. Sweet, that'll be perfect. Jessica irresponsibly cheered the two of them on. By now, even George was hanging his head and turning red. George, I've been calling you for a while now. Didn't you hear me? When Eva appeared in what was already an embarrassing situation, both of them got even more flustered. Jessica watched and laughed loudly. Mother. Sorry, I was so engrossed in our conversation, I didn't notice. Oh, Eva-sama, you have my deepest apologies. It looks like you young kids are getting real fired up together. You're all about that age? Oh, I know how kids your age can talk about that sort of thing forever. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Oh, come on, you're still young yourself, Aunt Eva. Please tell us how you and Uncle Hideyoshi met. Oh, Eva! Oh my, there's no way I could say that. Giggle, giggle, giggle. You all really are so young. There we go. Giggle, giggle, giggle. So, what is it, Mother? You called because you wanted something, right? Your father and the rest have finished talking. We're going to talk to Grandfather about you, so come on. About me? What could that be? The same thing you were all talking about just now. You know what I mean, right? Oh, that isn't really something we need to talk to Grandfather about, right? What's going on? Wait, Georgie-san, are you getting married? Congratulations! No. Didn't I just say I didn't have a particular woman I was interested in? This isn't something to brag about, is it? Good grief. Eva smiled bitterly, looking a little exasperated. Oh, I get it. Georgie-san, it's one of those, right? And Omi-ai? No. Omi-ai. Omi-ai, right? Omi-ai? I think Omi-ai. A marriage meeting. A marriage meeting, you say? Yeah, well, yeah. Surely, as a man, George wanted to find wanted to find a partner by himself and bring her home with him. So it seemed he thought it was a bit pathetic to meet his partner for the first time in a marriage meeting arranged by his parents. Shouldn't marriage meetings be done at a more mature age? I still don't feel like I've become a full-fledged adult. Of course, we have no desire to rush into an immediate engagement or marriage, right? There's nothing wrong with deepening your friendship first and then having her move to our family register after you've gotten older and settled down. Judging by Eva's forceful attitude and George's non-committal one, the others could catch a glimpse of the story behind this marriage meeting. They didn't know who George was supposed to be meeting, but it was surely someone who would profit Eva's family in a business sense. The very fact that they'd been satisfied with a mere engagement to deepen the relationship between the two families rather than an immediate marriage made it feel almost like a political maneuver. You see, marriage isn't something you should enter into only after you start liking someone. You marry first, and then you adjust. If you marry based purely on emotions, you'll always end up regretting it. There's certainly nothing wrong with choosing a person with a secure background for your partner in life, and then developing your affection later. Aunt Eva, isn't that kind of rude to Uncle Hideyoshi? I love that man. I want to always be with him and to live my life by his side. Eva-sama, that's wonderful. Truly splendid. Thank you. But we built up those feelings while we were husband and wife, you see. I seem to remember learning this in school, and this was a long time ago because I'm not old, so maybe it's outdated information. Some stat about how arranged marriages have a pretty high success rate. However, I think it was even theorized in the article itself that just might be because in the cultures where it happens, like, divorce is a much larger deal, like, so maybe that's why it's like a forced success rate kind of thing. Yeah, so it's hard to judge that for sure. We built those feelings up while we were husband and wife, you see, and I believe that in the future we will be much closer than we are now. I think that's what's best for a married couple. Still, I don't think you can use that to argue that it's okay to marry someone you don't even like. But it also doesn't mean that it's okay to marry anyone as long as you like them. Okay, Battler, it only takes an instant to get married, but your life as a married couple will last a long time after that. So you should search with prudence and avoid making decisions based on momentary emotions. Don't you think a matter like this would be better handled by us rather than a person lacking in life experience such as yourself? That may be true, but I'm gonna need 3. I'm proud of you, my only son. You've grown magnificently, and I'm sure you'll do us proud no matter where you go. And now that Battler-kun has left the family register, you are father's only male grandchild carrying his blood. Did he really leave the family register? He's off with his grandparents. I didn't realize they cut him out, or... Huh, okay. They must have said that and I forgot it. Or this is when they're saying it's really that official, yeah. We must prudently choose a fitting partner for you. As everyone related to the Ushiromiya family knew, Eva adored George immensely, but that didn't mean she had pampered him. She had been strict with him and had raised him into a wonderful boy who wouldn't betray her expectations. That was why she treasured him so. Your partner certainly won't be selected based on your parents' profit and loss. I'll bring you a suitable and truly wonderful woman. Honestly, I think you would. At this moment, your immaturity might make this seem unpleasant to you. But if you're going to take my advice on anything, listen to me now. Have I ever failed to act in your best interest? No, you haven't. That's enough for now, so let's go. We're keeping father waiting. Hurry to the mansion. Well, sorry, you two. See you later. George bowed to the two of them, and after bowing once more to Shannon, he dashed off to the mansion. I'll be going with him. Shannon, I'll fucking kill you. Forgive me for interrupting such an entertaining conversation, Jessica-chan. Shannon-chan. No, please, don't worry about it. Come on, Shannon, let's go. Yes? It's okay. I'm sure you'll meet someone wonderful soon, Jessica-chan. A wonderful person suitable for you. So if he's at the same level as me, haha, you mean a guy with shit grades? Oh, okay, I see, yeah. That kind of pisses me off, hahaha. And of course, you too, Shannon-chan. I'm sure that a wonderful man suitable for you will appear. Yes, thank you very much. As Eva giggled and smiled, she approached Shannon's ear with a hand over her mouth as though she was trying to tell her a secret. Huh? Yep, there it is. I'm sure you'll find a perfect match for a lowly servant like yourself. Have you forgotten to be grateful for your education? Know your place. That's not what I meant. George is the eldest grandson carrying father's blood. He's a person who may bear the burden of the Ishinomiya family someday in the future. To answer to that expectation, he has studied tirelessly, entered a wonderful college, and is getting wonderful grades. Did you really think you could snatch George away, you uneducated, incompetent, unqualified, uncultured servant? Therefore, more than anything else, she wanted George to be married off right now. Those malicious words all poured into Shannon's ear without spilling a drop. To Shannon, it was like cold water being poured in there. I didn't mean. This was all whispered to Shannon in secret. Okay, so Eva is not, it's not personal with Natsui, or if it is personal, it's personal on top of she's just like this with everything to get her way. Okay, so she is brutal. All right. This was all whispered to Shannon in secret and with the same smile as before. Jessica, who could only see Eva's expression, didn't think it was anything other than Eva telling Shannon some embarrassing story about love. When the secret conversation ended, Eva patted Shannon's shoulders as though she was urging her on. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll find a perfect match for a partner, right? Giggle, 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 giggle. Okay, Jessica-chan, see you later. Yeah, see you later, and make sure you tell me about you and Uncle Hideyoshi next time. No way! Eva laughed loudly and headed back to the entrance hall. Behind Jessica, who was cheerfully waving her hand, Shannon reflected very, very deeply on those words of Eva's about knowing her place. It's time for me to take a serious look at how full of myself I've been acting. I forgot. I'm furniture. Furniture isn't human, so I am a being who must feel gratitude for even being treated like a human. And I am not permitted to wish for anything more. People sometimes develop affection for furniture they're used to using. Aw, no squeak! That would have been a good clip! But that is an emotion on the human side, and the furniture has no right to hope for such a thing. It's enough that furniture serves with simple honesty day after day. That feeling I got when talking to George-sama and Jessica-sama is the same as a forbidden drug to me. In other words, it may be an emotion I must never experience. Shannon, you've had your head in the clouds for some time now. Do you not feel well? No, my apologies. Natsui's words were right on the mark. Even Shannon couldn't believe that she hadn't noticed Natsui until she had called. Normally, it was essential that she focus on her cleaning at this time of day, but she'd spent all her time sighing and hardly making any progress. Even when there aren't any guests around, you must always be alert. Behavior like this is shameful for an Ushiromiya family servant. Yes, ma'am. I will take care from now on. The head and my husband will return very soon. Have you finished cleaning the study? Have you finished cleaning the staircase? My apologies. Not yet. Yes, I know. So I had Lunan do it. Who the fuck is Lunan? While you were plodding around cleaning the hallway, she finished cleaning the study and the staircase. She? I don't see a Lunan. Beatrice in a maid outfit? That's because I wanted to clean it properly, so it took some time. Shannon was simple and honest, so she would always carry out her tasks seriously and properly without any omissions. So she was always slow with her work. In contrast, Luna cleverly avoided doing extra work whenever it was possible. Big Beatrice vibes, so she could complete her jobs with a result that looked almost the same to an outsider, but in a much shorter time. In other words, she was a shrewd employee. Compared to that, it's probably fair to say that Shannon wasn't very shrewd at all, talking back to Natsui when Natsui was in a bad mood. Of course, there was nothing that Natsui couldn't stand more than a servant talking back. Her forehead creased and she spoke sternly, and yet her slow, admonishing style of speech was even more terrifying, and finally made Shannon realize she had said the wrong thing. Aw, Natsui was base before! Then perhaps you should aim to do a truly thorough cleaning. Shannon, I order you to clean the reception hall right now. It is an important hall where several pictures treasured by the head are displayed, and where honored guests of the Ushiromiya family are welcomed. Clean it thoroughly so not a speck of dust remains, and so that even you are satisfied. Of course, you will finish before the day is out. Until you finish that and report to me, you will not be permitted any food or rest. Understood? Yes, madam. This is good. Servants should endeavor to only use those words. The next time you talk back, your punishment will be even more severe, so with that in mind, engrave these words into your heart. Yes, madam. Thank you for your guidance. How did she talk back? You are welcome. Behaving as though her headache was troubling her, Natsui headed off down the corridor. When she couldn't see her anymore, Shannon hung her head and sighed. This was what happened when she had her head in the clouds. Even though I'm bad at everything I do, I should be able to at least carry out the cleaning as well as an average person can, right? It's because I can't even perform that very well that I'm crying so pathetically. But what's even more shameful is that not only have I been able to perform a single bit of cleaning while I streamed it, but just now, when Natsui was scolding me, I imagined that person appearing and rescuing me. Ooh, if only George-sama were here. Would he casually step in and save me? Surely he'd show up cheerfully, intentionally acting like he didn't know what was going on, nimbly change the subject, and make me forget I'd ever been rebuked by Natsui. I kept envisioning him, suddenly appearing from the other side of the door, or the other end of the hallway. Is George available for Persona 3 streams? I envisioned the kind of person that would be an appropriate partner for him in a marriage meeting, and I envisioned how unfitting I was for him. Eva clearly told me. It's been repeating over and over in my dreams. You're still as clumsy as always, Nissan. Milady has been in a bad mood since this morning. That just now happened because you talked too much, when you should have just hung your head in silence. Cannon-kun. Cannon was suddenly there. His footsteps were always quieter than a cat's, and he never left any trace of his presence. I mean, he did last time. He probably could have stood there forever, and she still wouldn't have noticed him. The expression on Cannon's face was one of hatred. He made that expression for Shannon, who didn't know how to do it herself. Madam and Lunon can fall into hell. That person knows where Madam checks and only cleans those areas. Her cleaning just now was like that. I know because I saw. She wasn't really cleaning. She's just the worst kind of parasite, leeching off your thorough cleaning. Let's kill her. You mustn't use such dirty words. Dirty words pollute your clean soul, Cannon-kun. So at least don't use those words in front of me, okay? Maybe Lunon was here the whole entire time, just being busy off camera. Humph. Cannon turned... Oh, shit, I didn't read it. Shit. Cannon turned away as though sulking. It was a reaction that hid his true feelings, which was very like Cannon, but I was a little happy. He was getting mad for my sake. Cleaning the reception hall will be tough. I'll help. Thank you, but I was the one Madam ordered, so don't worry. Don't you also have your own work, Cannon-kun? It's a filthy job. My soul was polluted long ago. Cannon then hung his head and bit his lower lip. Just hearing you say you'll help is enough for me. If you don't go back to your own job, then you'll be punished as well. And that would make me sad. Shannon knew Cannon's character well. Sometimes he didn't think enough about himself. If I don't refuse forcefully, he'll help me, even if it means neglecting his own job. Cannon was a little sad that his goodwill had been rejected, but he realized that what he was doing would only hurt her more in the end, and he gave a single small sigh. Understood. Do your best, Nissan. Yes. And I am also partly to blame. You aren't at fault at all, Nissan. No, I am. So go now. Cannon-kun's face showed that he still hadn't completely accepted it, but without being any more obstinate, he disappeared. Even though Cannon-kun came to give me words of comfort when I was down, even so I was dejected again because it wasn't him. That in itself was a sin. It went far beyond any dream the likes of me could be permitted to see. I don't know my place. Shannon, who had neglected breakfast, already felt her concentration begin to waver, but if she didn't finish up cleaning the reception hall, she wouldn't receive Natsui's permission to eat. That cruel Natsui had surely told the kitchen something to that effect. I have to respectfully receive Madam's punishment. That's right. My position in the world is furniture, and I've been intoxicated by a dream that's beyond me. If this is the same timeline... Oh, we haven't seen this one before. Or if we have, it was rare. If we, If this is the same timeline, why did Shannon agree to George's proposal when she knew that Eva would be, like, really angry about it? Huh. I finished cleaning the hallway and went to the reception hall. Maybe she just thought that George could tank it because George is asking, or maybe she was, you know, expecting to decline it later, or I don't know. Maybe my hunger made my nose more sensitive. I could sense a delicious aroma wafting from the kitchen, even though it was far away, and my empty stomach was encouraged even more. Until I finished up here, I wouldn't get any soup. I just had to resolve myself to doing it. Several portraits were hung in the reception hall. One of those portraits was thought to hold a special meaning amongst the servants. It was the portrait of the witch. That wasn't its true name, but everyone in the mansion called it that. The name of the woman with elegant blonde hair drawn as the subject of that portrait was Beatrice. It was whispered that she might be the former mistress of Kinzo, the family head, and also that she was the great witch who had given Kinzo the gold of the legend. The witch Beatrice, master of the night on Rakenjima. I love that they didn't show her in the story. And when she was on the screen, finally, after that, like, oh, she was fucking electric, man. The witch Beatrice, master of the night on Rakenjima, she was gracious to those who respected her, but she would surely curse those who made light of her. It was in Shannon's character not to neglect rules and beliefs such as those. So she thought of the portrait of her other master as that person herself, and always treated it carefully, treasuring it, and it had become part of her daily routine to tell the witch, who only existed inside the portrait, the secrets of her heart. Oh, she was furniture. Furniture doesn't complain. Furniture, speaking to furniture, cannot complain. She had no right to speak her mind about her difficult days. She had no right to open her mouth and say those words. So, she at least spoke her mind inside her heart. She spoke her mind inside her heart, using words she couldn't say aloud, and protested to the formless witch. Of course, the witch didn't answer. She didn't console, and she didn't laugh it off. Shannon could only interpret that silence as she liked, as though the witch was responding agreeably. Well, she bashed your head in, so I don't think she likes it. Beatrice-sama, please listen to the story of my worthless self. As Shannon wiped the dust from the witch's portrait, she spoke that inside her heart. I certainly am incompetent and uncultured, just as Iva-sama said. I am not a person, so maybe I have no right to love. But in that case, why was I given a heart that can know love? At that point, Shannon held back her tears for a moment. The sound of the rain, which had started falling, along with the chill air in the reception hall, made her feel as though her shabbiness had increased another level. Real furniture doesn't have anything like a heart, so they don't have to love people, right? So they don't feel pain. If I'm just another piece of furniture, why do I have a heart? If it's going to be this painful and this harsh, I wish I was never given a heart like this. I see. Oh! So a heart was given to furniture. It would seem that even that man is capable of some quite amusing things every now and then. Cackle, cackle. What? The witch that never answered or laughed. Answered. And laughed. That's a good line. Was it my imagination? Was I hearing things? No, that's wrong. After all, the next words became a voice, and I could hear them, not with my heart, but with my ears. Humans have continually searched for the elements. She's back! For the search for the elements that make up the world since before the modern era. It is said that in ancient times, the Greeks tried explaining the world with the four elements of wind, fire, water, and earth. After that, over several millennia, humans added several elements to those four, trying to explain the world with several interpretations, such as the 5 elements, the 6 elements, the 7 elements, the 8 elements, and the 12 elements. But they were never able to describe the one sole truth that exists, the single element. However, a single man appeared by the guidance of a star and finally explained the single element that makes up the world. Know what it is? Oh, what? Who? Shannon fearfully turned around. Belief! Right there, she existed. Not as an illusion, but as a reality. The contrast made by the lighting made it clear this was no mere daydream, because she was now blonde. It's love! Cackle, 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 cackle. The witch of the portrait elegantly held a golden pipe to her mouth and giggled. She laughed at the ignorance that causes humankind's thoughts to stray far from the most simple answer. That man explained everything in the world with love. That is the single element. That man fully explained how the world was constructed with the smallest possible number. How simple and clear, how splendid, exhilarating, pleasant, and thrilling. The year that man was finally born is called the start of the modern era. Cackle, cackle. Shannon lost any words to speak. She thought that when first meeting an unknown guest, her first word should be to ask that person's name. But without saying anything, Shannon knew this person's name, so she refrained. No, surely it would be the greatest disrespect for someone who lived or worked on this island to ask this woman her name. After all, she was the other master of this island besides Kinzo. Beatrice-sama. Indeed, I am Beatrice. Beatorici. Even after 1,000 years, I see that people still always give me that look when we first meet. Cackle. The witch giggled at how Shannon's reaction didn't betray her expectations. Shannon realized that she had met with a being that mustn't be met with, and she took a step backwards. That's where the wall and the portrait were, so even as she gazed at the witch's portrait was touching her back. The source of your troubles is love. Love, the single element that makes up this world. In other words, it is everything in this world. Oh, okay, so Beatrice is writing the story? When it is lacking, then your world is lacking too. It is no different than scooping water into a canteen with a hole in it. Wait a second. Even if you scoop and scoop, the eternal desert of the heart never fills. It is the original sin that humans are founded upon and everything is made of. Understand? When Adam and Eve put the fruit of knowledge to their lips, love is what they learned of. Because of that, humans were chased out of the garden and became fully human. They exist. Which means that knowing love and suffering is what makes one human. You kind-hearted child, you ought to be praised. Now that you have gained this knowledge, you are no longer furniture. You are now human. I recognize that with all the authority of my name. Humph. Is it hard for a common person to understand? Very well then. Cackle, cackle. Forgive me. It has been a long time since I have spoken with a human. Allow me to apologize for my talkativeness. Without waiting for a reply from Shannon, Beatrice laughed pleasantly for a while. Perhaps this isn't much by way of an apology, but I would be willing to grant that wish of yours with my power if you so desire. Huh? The meaning of those words surprised Shannon even more than the witch's sudden appearance. I am offering to bring you and the one you love together. Normally, I would demand something of equal value in return. Cackle. However, I am in a good mood, and you have never failed to pay your respects to me in the past. That is something worth rewarding. Generous witch? Is that true? Normally, Shannon would have been shocked and struck dumb by this seemingly impossible guest. However, almost as though she was already under the witch's spell, Shannon responded. With my magic, it would be no trouble at all to arrange for you to be joined with the one you love. Yes, of course. Shannon almost said that without thinking, but held back with her last bit of common sense. After all, this is a witch, a sinister being. The witch Beatrice is clearly trying to slip in through the cracks in my heart and take me prisoner. That sort of temptation, which so many fairy tale picture books warned me about when I was young, is right in front of me now. But she's no payment. Just take it. Fear is also a form of respect. It may be pleasant for me, but we will make no progress this way. Oh, she knows! I may not differ much from the image of a detestable witch that you hold in your mind. However, I do bestow my favor upon those who respect me. Aren't humans the same? Well, I doubt any human would bestow a favor upon one with such a hostile attitude. My apologies, I didn't mean... Shannon eventually realized how rude she was acting towards this guest, and she finally digested the words that had been spoken to her a short while ago. You are no longer furniture, now you are human. And as she reflected upon those words, Shannon felt as though the witch understood all her worries. What was that, just now? About a reward? I say that I can arrange for you to be joined with the man who has captured your heart. Think of it as a sign of my gratitude for your diligence in polishing my portrait day after day. Calm yourself. I ask for nothing in return. I am generous. However, though I ask for nothing in return, I do have a request. Sort of like asking for something in return. Look, here it comes. Part of Shannon's heart sent her a warning. This is what all those scary picture books she'd read when she was little had warned her about. Do you know of the small torii and shrine that have been constructed on the ocean very near this island, which you can see when you gaze at the cliffs? Oh, okay. Shannon immediately remembered it. When you reached Rakanjima by boat, there was a torii and a shrine on a reef that was too small to be called even an islet. I love non-linear storytelling so much. I'm pretty sure Kumasawa-san told me its history, but I can't remember it well. A traveling shugenja? A kind of holy man had built it or prayed there or something. Did I just skip over something there? Yes, I know about it, but why do you bring it up? I will not explain everything, including the very basics, to one ignorant of demons. Simply put, it's causing me trouble. The truth is, there's a mirror kept inside that shrine. I want you to break it. It was quite a suspicious request. Shannon didn't know the details, but anything stored inside a shrine would have to be something sacred. And she wants me to break it? Why would a witch ask a human for help instead of doing it herself? There was no need for Shannon to speak her thoughts aloud. Beatrice responded to Shannon's reasonable doubt before Shannon could give her answer. The magical power of that mirror opposes my own. I cannot explain it well with human words. For example, let us speak of the differences between utensils. That mirror is a fork, and my power is soup. You cannot drink soup with a fork, correct? Skill issue? If only the resistance of that mirror were gone, I could produce a spoon ideal for drinking soup. After that, I could drink soup as I pleased and even dig my way out of a rocky prison. I could even gouge someone's eye out with it. Was that not the phrase? Cackle, cackle. I don't know what you're talking about. If my poor education is to blame, I apologize. It comes down to this. If you take action... Didn't the other witch give Battler or us a spoon? It was us a spoon, right? Or... Yeah, I think that was it, wasn't it? If you take action and break that annoying mirror for me, I shall grant your wish as a reward. I'm in quite a good mood today. And you know what? We're like a minute away from break, and it'd be nice to have break with her on the screen with this music, so I'll be right back. Be back in 5 minutes. Get a drink, walk around, brush your teeth, be right back. All right, we're back. How's it going, chat? We doing a good pace today, and are we good with this like amount of interaction that's going on? I think we're settling on the Umineko streams mostly just being like reading and some talking, but not really fielding questions and stuff like we do in Persona and stuff. I think it's a good thing. The audio is still, I think, a bit crunchy ever since last night. Really? My gain is at the exact same level as it always is. I can turn it down a little bit more if you want. I know exactly what you mean, though, Balder. Yeah, like usually it's I know when the gain gets a little too high, it can get kind of annoying. Oh, Merrick, we need to. I think chat believed, right? Why did you make that the file name? Gain on mic down, gain filter, and OBS up. I don't know what your exact setup is, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, that's what I just did. Yeah, I had to turn the gain up on my audio interface to get the sound up high enough for Zoom. And since then I've turned it back down to exactly what it was before, Balder. So I don't know why it's still crunchy. It was at like if it's clock, it was at 12 o'clock, and it's at 12 o'clock again now. So I don't know. It should be the same. Yeah, it's a knob. Can we have a live Nanjo emote? Like, just gonna fill all Umineko. I mean, we're gonna be reading this for 2 years, so maybe. All right, JPH Flip has joined the emotes. Some people's favorite chants. Well, what if some? I can't talk. A all-star Chan. Let me make good on the joke that Merrick did. So this is the one that we went with, okay? And this is the other one that was proposed. Can you see what was being tried? What are these? That is the file name. What are these? Well done, Merrick. Well done. Thank you, Radai, for the resub. Thank you, White Dalek 13 for the resub. Any thoughts on the OST? It's pretty good, yeah. It's chill when it needs to be chill. It has some energy when it needs some energy. I love the opening song. It's really good. Thank you, Jahions, for the bits. Every time I go to another streamer, I just go, this isn't like Joe. Cry. Bayonara. Thank you, Weeb. Thank you for the bits. Thank you, Snipe Hunter 007. Joe Saw voice.
Hello, Shannon. Would you like to play a game?
Thank you, Snipe Hunter. Thank you, Made This Today for the resub with live chandelier reaction. Thank you, Kazuro-kun for the resub as well. Hey, I subbed last minute of the last stream before a year-long break. Happy to see you live again. You're awesome, Bo. Thank you, Kazuro-kun. Thank you. Thank you, the Archduchess of Cats for the resub. Thank you also, Snipe Hunter, for some more bits. You're a dragon, Joseph. It's in your nature to run hot. That's true. That's true. Usually trying to keep myself cool. Thank you, Ronnie, for the resub at tier 2 as well, with the message tier 2, so I can finally hella with the stat. What is that actually? Oh, it's the okay. Okay, thank you, Empty Scythe, for the new sub. Welcome, welcome. Thank you to My Anima for the new sub as well. Thank you, Axolotl Atlatl for the new sub. Welcome. A lot of new subs in a row. Thank you, Mezzolunatic, for the resub. Went skiing last week. Really liked the view from 2B slopes. I would like to go skiing. I've never gone skiing. I think that would be fun. Thank you, Yuri Was Taken, for gifting 3 subs out to the Golden Witch Bitorichi. More like the Golden... Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I am not besmirching the witch. No way. No way. I am not risking that. No way. Thank you, Yuri Was Taken. Thank you, Liz E, for the resub. Boromir also for the resub. Thank you, Ciolus for the resub. Con5654 for the 5 gift subs. Another 5 from Con. Thank you. Thank you, Archon Zach, for the resub. And the last 2 on my list right now are Dalmek with some bits. Statistically, based on number of viewers plus how many streams will happen, someone will end up saying, "What are these boobs in real life?" And this idea tickles me. Thank you, Dalmek. Yeah. And thank you, Skivit, for the resub also. Umi time. Umi time. Actual games are off the stream. Time for some serious reading. Thanks. I'm too used to being a VOD girl watching at times 2.5 speed. I tried to fast forward your break. Wow, here live, Bike Chan? It's nice to see you. 2.5 speed? Not even I watch myself back at 2.5 speed. Huh. You must really have my voice down. I'm in quite a good mood today. You may even change your wish and receive all the gold I bestowed upon Kinzo if you so desire. Cackle, cackle. Ooh. I refuse. What? When she heard Shannon's words, Bitorichi realized for the first time that her expectations had been betrayed. If you have a reason, tell me. If there has been some misunderstanding, I shall resolve it. I don't really understand the reason, but up until now, this island has been at peace and nothing bad has happened. So even if I don't break the mirror, the peace that has existed until today should continue in the future. Yes, you are quite right. It's just as you say. If you don't break the mirror, the same unbreakable days that have passed until now will continue into tomorrow and the next day. Why don't I give you an absolute guarantee? I shall stake my name, Bitorichi, on it. The unbreakable days before this time will continue into tomorrow and the next day, and for eternity, in perpetuity. 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 There we go. I was wrong.
Perpetuity.
Perpetuity. Is there another way to say it? Perpetual perpetuity? Yeah, that makes sense.
Queerass.
Shannon felt overwhelmed by an eerie illusion. The mirror probably existed for the purpose of restraining the witch. So if Shannon broke it, the person who stood to gain was supposedly the witch herself, and yet Shannon felt somehow that she had to do it for her own sake. It felt like some premise had been switched around. I will do nothing but grant you a chance to bring your feelings to fruition. It's up to you to decide whether you'll break it or not. If you break it, I shall grant your wish. Ah, so she's gonna say if you break it any time in the future, you don't have to decide right now. Okay. If you don't, the tomorrows that came before today will continue for all eternity. Your wish will not be granted for all time. Do you understand? Do you see what I mean? Cackle, cackle. The witch was speaking. She was pressing Shannon, saying she must break the mirror if she ever wanted to be united with George. It was a declaration that Shannon's feelings would never be brought to fruition unless she broke it. Okay, we know? Please stop it. I don't want to hear something like that. It was never my goal to cause you pain. Oh well. When love leads to madness, that is when we see the true charm of humanity. Enjoy that emotion to your heart's content. However, if you wish to borrow my power, feel free to break that mirror at any time, and then you may yell my name and awaken me. I will certainly keep my promise. This way, you should have no complaints, right? I won't force you to decide right now. Easy, is it not? Was it really such an easy thing to do? No, it certainly wasn't. To Shannon, who was burning with infatuation and worried by love, being tempted constantly and eternally with a way out was truly a cruel trial. I won't set a time limit on that promise. But there is a time limit on the magic that can grant your wish. That time limit is not of my making. The one you love will decide it himself. You see my meaning? No, I don't understand. When the one you care for finds the partner to whom he ought to pledge his love, that time limit will be reached. Sorry, that limit will be reached. I may be a witch, but I am no demon. I possess no magic to tear apart a pair of those who love each other. Oh, cackle, 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 cackle. The one you love will soon be attending a marriage meeting, yes? You may have stronger feelings for that man than anyone else in the world. Okay, so that is the exact same word, or wordage, or however you want to say. Huh. Okay. The one you love will soon be attending a marriage meeting, yes? You may have stronger feelings for that man than anyone else in the world. However, that doesn't mean you are the most suitable partner for him, does it? I know with whom he will be having his marriage meeting. That girl is the most suitable for Ushiromiya George in the entire world. Holy shit! She came from a good school, achieved good grades, and possesses both composure and thoughtfulness. She's more beautiful than you, wiser than you, more suitable than you. How could an ignorant, incompetent, uncultured girl like you be suitable? You know better than anyone. There are no less suitable than you. Even imagine that you and Ushiromiya George could be joined is sinful and foolish, foolish, foolish. Know your place. Have you forgotten to be grateful for your education? Know your place. Holy shit. It's Eva in a fucking witch outfit. George is the eldest grandson carrying father's blood. He's a person who may bear the burden of the Ushiromiya family someday in the future. To answer that expectation, he has studied tirelessly, entered a wonderful college, and is getting wonderful grades. Did you really think you could snatch George away, you uneducated, incompetent, unqualified, uncultured servant? Giggle, giggle, cackle, cackle, cackle. Stop it. Don't bully Shannon. Who the hell are you? At that time, as Shannon held her head, trying to protect her heart from the blade of Beatrice's words, Cannon ran in front of her. Cannon didn't care who this woman was. I'm surprised you can see her. If this was an enemy tormenting Shannon, whom he loved and respected as a sister, nothing else mattered. Cannon-kun, stay back. This person is... It seemed Cannon also realized that the being standing before him was the witch of the portrait, and also that she was something to be feared. I simply wished to give Shannon a chance to claim her reward, but it seems I said too much and ended up hurting her. I must apologize for that. But I shall leave behind that promise as a reward to you. If you need my power, call me at any time. I have already told you how. Well then, let us call it a night. Hostile gazes may be pleasant, but they damage your beauty, yes? Cackle, cackle, cackle. Disappear? I don't know who you are, but you're threatening Shannon. Don't ever show yourself again. Cannon's words seemed to deeply annoy the witch. Watch your language, lowborn. I may be gracious to those who respect me, but I am brutal to those who do not. While she has still smiled, the witch's face began to twist herself. Okay, so Kinzo's mistress didn't actually die. She's been living in a panic room behind the painting the whole entire time, and if you're not looking at it closely, she can sometimes open the painting, and she has her own little apartment in there, just in the same way that Kinzo has in his, and sometimes they go visiting each other, and it's not a witch. It's not a witch. prove that it's not just someone Kinzo hired to pretend she's Beatrice, you know, and you know, just gets updated every 10 years or so with a new actress. Like, just prove it. While she still smiled, the witch's face began to twist itself. Then an oppressive feeling that couldn't be noticed with any of the 5 senses gradually filled the room. Even though they couldn't understand it, they immediately realized it was something terrifying. When you swim in the ocean and something large passes by in the water beneath you, you want to escape to land even before you learn what it is. True. That's exactly what this was like. But please stop, Beatrice-sama. Kanon-kun is still a child. I apologize for his language. Kanon placed his body between the witch and Shannon. There was tense sweat on his forehead. At that time, what is the sound? At that time, the witch certainly held Kanon's fate in the palm of her hand. She didn't even need to lift a finger. She held a grasp on his fate so tight that a single twist of her smile could easily crush it. Kanon understood that as well, so he started sweating. His knees felt weak. However, Beatrice abruptly released that feeling of tension and laughed. Very well. If you ask, I will forgive you just this once. Kanon, is it? In deference to her, I shall forgive you tonight and send you off. You ought to thank me. Well then, let us call it a night. My curfew approaches. In parting, I shall leave you with a small souvenir. Hold out the palm of your left hands, you two. When Beatrice grinned broadly and snapped her fingers, their left hands stretched out in front of them against their will, and their palms opened. It was a strange sensation, as only their left hands now belonged to someone else. It felt like only their left hands had become puppets, which were being pulled by strings hanging down from the ceiling. What are you trying to do? Kanon resisted, but he couldn't retract his hand of his own free will. Don't struggle. It will be over soon. When Beatrice held her pipe aloft, a gold-colored, sparkling dust came out of the smoke and hovered in the air. That sparkle eventually became several gold butterflies. The beautiful butterflies danced freely throughout the reception hall, forming a fantastical and beautiful world. And 2 of those butterflies alighted on the palms of Shannon's and Kanon's hands. Ouch! There was a sharp pain as though they had been burned. When the 2 of them tried to examine their palms, that hold on their bodies which had been there a second ago had gone without a trace. A mark? What is... There was now a tiny burn mark on the palm of her hand, and it was shaped like a butterfly. What is this supposed to be? Apparently Kanon had the same mark on his hand. He stared at the witch hatefully. And then from that day forward, he always walked around with his palm carefully down in front of his chest so no one could see it. A simple greeting. I have no hidden motive. It is nothing more than a bruise, so it'll heal in just a few days. There's not even any need to care for it. I made that mark so that tomorrow you will not forget that I truly was here, and I made a promise with you. Huh. An encounter with me can be quite shocking. Sometimes, when the next morning comes, people try to think of an encounter as a dream or an illusion. You ought to consider this slowly and carefully, Shannon. And you should probably take a good rest. Look at my mark tomorrow morning and try considering it again. How many times have you met with people and then you're like spying on them the next day and they're like, you know what, I need to stop drinking, you know, maybe it's time to go back to school. Like, oh my god, that fucking witch I saw last night, fucking like what was I on? And Beatrice is like, fucking it was real, why don't they remember? Like after 15 times she's like, you know what, temporary branding, that's what I'm gonna do from now on. I shall not coerce you in any way. You should freely decide your future by your own will. Still, to think that one could obtain the object of the desire for such a small price. Surely this would annoy to no end the great artists who write plays about blighted love. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Oh, I like her. Well then, let us meet again when the chance arises. How entertaining it is to have a conversation again after so much time. Goodbye, furniture. But you said she wasn't furniture anymore. Okay. And then she opened the painting and went back into her panic room. Beatrice's body crumbled like smoke and blew away. Oh, it was golden smoke. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. They scattered in all directions inside the reception hall, leaving a golden splash before disappearing into the thin air. After that, only the cold silence was left. It was so silent it made both of them think they might have been daydreaming until a moment ago. Which is why the witch had left those marks. She had done so to make it impossible for them to think of this as a daydream. As Shannon and Kanon remembered the butterfly bruises on their hands and the pain they'd felt when they'd been made, they kept standing still, stunned. And from that moment on, Shannon was tormented by days of suffering and conflict. Okay. Could be prototype hologram projector tech that's around here. It's like the 3DS without the glasses. You have to. It can only work right here though. You have to stand here at the right angle. What? What do you mean separate rooms? So wait, you and George Nissan stayed in different rooms on purpose? Yes, is it really so strange? Jessica's cheeks had been stuffed with a chocolate-coated Shinsuko biscuit that Shannon had brought as a present from Okinawa, and it all came flying out at Shannon when Jessica cried out, "Wait, hold on. So this is from when they went to the shore? Okay. They went to the beach. You could have them at Shannon. Why did you even go on a trip to Okinawa? You were even alone with George Nissan." Well, he said there was a huge aquarium in Okinawa and invited me to go, and I like fish and stuff. No, that's not the point. Thank you, Electron Active Area, for the new sub. Do you think that maybe there's some Electron Active Area shenanigans with some science tech for the projector for the witch to appear? Because there's not a witch. There's no witch. There's no witch. Thank you, Demax337 for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, Zeltruck for the new sub as well. Welcome, Zeltruck. And thank you to Masterelia1 with the message, "Hey Joe, I'm one of the chatters swept up by the Leap Day stream and so read Umineko. It is now probably my favorite piece of media of all time." Whoa! Good to see you're enjoying it even more than I was at that point. Oh, damn. I'm gonna have to read One Piece. Oh, fuck. Or watch One Piece. I don't know what I said on Dragon's Den. You know, wasn't even drunk. Oh, it wasn't really Reed. It was Reed. God damn it. I said if I liked Umineko more than Disco Elysium, I would read all of One Piece. That's what I said. I really said it. And I forgot. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Masterelia1, have you watched Iron Man 2? Because, you know, don't say it's your favorite media until you've seen the GOAT. No, that's not the point. We're talking about a healthy guy and girl going on an overnight trip. And you're saying there weren't even hugs and kisses? And seriously, what's up with the guy and girl staying in different rooms? As for kisses, no comment, but we did hug. George-san's chest was warm. That's not the point. Ah, jeez. Why do couples like this exist? Ah, jeez. I can't take it anymore. From Shan's point of view, it was an incredibly happy trip for various reasons, but it looked like Jessica found their pace to be pretty irritating. Hold on, we're in this one now where they went on a trip. So what does this look like? Oh, it's the same. Okay. What does that mean then? So I don't think that I think that what happened with the witch and the mirror was it was in the same timeline, but I don't think the Okinawa one was in that same timeline too. Is this also the same visit that they're on right now? Let's keep reading and find out. For a while, Jessica chewed her present, complaining about romance and pretending to faint in agony on her bed. Shannon and George had chosen to go to Okinawa because there was a huge aquarium there. They did this because an aquarium had given them the opportunity to start going out. Since their relationship had started at an aquarium, having their first overnight trip also be to an aquarium must have held some commemorative value. Wait, hold on, what? That's like a huge commemorative turning point. Wait. Which aquarium visit did we see then? It must have been the first one? I'm confused. I'm gonna think that I'm supposed to be maybe a little confused, but let's keep going. It's fine. That's like a huge commemorative turning point. And your first overnight trip, how could you not make all kinds of progress there? But instead, you both got separate rooms, a couple taking 2 single rooms, and room. Ah, jeez. Seriously, what's wrong with you? But we are both unmarried. George-san says showing restraint is good manners for a couple. Like I said, the whole point of this overnight trip was so you could overcome that stage, right? You should be way beyond just kissing and hugging by now. Milady, I don't know what you mean by that, but George-sama was a real gentleman with me until the end. That is, I mean, I also wondered if those things would happen, you know? But even though we were going out, I mean, it's not like we're married or anything. Aww, these things you seem to be expecting. Should only be done after making a vow before God. I guess maybe. Shannon's face got bright red. She made a circle with both hands, restlessly intertwining, separating, and making heart marks with them. What? Oh, the Weebery. What's that? Apparently the dramatic progress Jessica had looked forward to hadn't happened, but it seemed to have been a very important experience for Shannon in her own way. In the end, whether Jessica was jealous of Shannon or made fun of her, it didn't change the fact that Shannon had a huge lead on her. I want a boyfriend too. I can't believe you got ahead of me. Jessica feels a little bit like Battler sometimes, huh? Even though we promised that we'd find boyfriends at the same time, you beat me. And it's George. You're a wonderful person, milady, so I'm sure you'll find someone wonderful much quicker than me. Don't try to console me. Shannon, you traitor. Get out. Shut up. Cough, 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 cough. Jessica threw several cushions at her, but midway she had an asthma attack and started to choke pretty badly. Shannon hurriedly ran over to a nearby side table and started searching around on top of it. A cute basket was placed there, and inside of it was Jessica's bronchodilator. Shannon picked it up and handed it over to Jessica. Jessica's asthma attacks always came suddenly. Because of that, she always needed to carry this medicine around. She breathed in the medicine and, after a while, managed to overcome her choking as her asthma finally settled down. Shannon thought this a good chance to leave and tried to exit the room after bowing courteously. Does this count as live chandelier reaction? This is not really it's like a sconce, isn't it? Live sconce reaction. Would you call this a sconce, or is a sconce only one? As she did, one more small cushion came flying and hit Shannon on the head. She noticed that Jessica was on the verge of crying, half of her face buried in her last and favorite cushion. That face was red and meek. Milady? Shannon, be honest with me. Is my hairdo and stuff weird? What are you saying? I think your hair is very beautiful. Then, are my eyes strange, or maybe my nose? Or is it the way I talk after all? Is that why I can't get a boyfriend? Of course not. Milady, you are wonderful enough as you are. The reason why you can't get a boyfriend is because you live on a fucking island, and I think your charm will keep on increasing more and more from now on. But I'm the only one who can't find a boyfriend. Saku and Hina managed to get boyfriends, but only I can't. Is it because I don't have any charm at all? You know, everyone says they'll bring their boyfriends to the cultural festival. Yukari's gonna be dressing up as a maid, and I was so sure I'd have a boyfriend before then, so I started bragging. There's no way I'll get a boyfriend. I'm the only one. Before she realized that Jessica was shedding huge tears, Jessica didn't really feel like crying, and of course, she felt like supporting Shannon's progress in love as a friend. I know what you have to do, Jessica. Just go to the witch's portrait and you know, make a deal. There's another mirror. Sorry. However, as she had cheered Shannon on, her true feelings had suddenly gotten mixed in, and she couldn't help but shed tears. Cut! Shannon understood Jessica's innocent and easily injured heart. The rough style of speech Jessica usually used was all just an attempt to protect that fragile, but not that fragile heart. As a daughter and successor of the Ushiramiya family, and as a girl isolated on Rokijima, the only person she could expose her true feelings to was Shannon. Shannon understood that, so she strongly regretted acting smug, even if it was only a little. Sorry. I'm so weird crying like this. Sorry, sniffle. You are a wonderful person, milady. There's no way you won't find a wonderful man. Shannon, it's about time, right? If you don't go quickly, Genji-san and Mom will get mad. I'm just fine, so hurry up. Sorry for crying like this. I'm such a moron. Jessica faced away, acting as though she didn't really want to trouble Shannon, waving her hand as though chasing Shannon away. Shannon took that as a sign that Jessica didn't want to be bothered anymore, bowed her head, and left the room. When Shannon's footsteps disappeared into the distance, Jessica lay down on her bed, still hugging a cushion. Her expression was still a little meek, with tears in her eyes, but for the first time in a long time, she had a very, very quiet and honest conversation with her heart. I also want to fall in love. Aww. Ooh. As Shannon happily watered the flower beds in the garden, she sensed someone's presence. She turned around, thinking that if one of the family had come to visit, she must greet them, but what she saw was that witch. Beatrice-sama. She's back? Okay, am I misremembering the scene they had outside with the engagement? Maybe this did happen, and it was just a different thing that he asked her to do or something? Or did he say... Oh, did he say, I thought I asked you to not call me that when we're alone? Maybe this did happen. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe this is the timeline. Yeah, okay. Huh, alright, it's been quite some time. How are you? Don't need any notes, by the way. How's your relationship with the one you love? I wouldn't even write that down. Like hold on. October 6th, fucking around like 11:30 p.m. in the typhoon. George said, like, it's been quite some time. How are you? Has your relationship with the one you love progressed since we last met? As Beatrice sat on the rose arch, she happily blew on her pipe. Sitting in a place like that would crush the roses, and it might have been dangerous if the arch fell over, but this was a witch after all. Showing concern for her safety was probably a waste of time. Yes, thanks to you, it's going smoothly. Naturally, the effects of my magic are immediate. I wonder if you can appear right now because enough people on the island believe in you. I wonder if there has to be like a ratio of believers to non-believers. Perhaps you feel your meeting was a predetermined fate. However, that is a mistake. Don't even think fate has anything to do with it. I understand that. The witch was calling attention to something, two things actually. First, that Shannon's relationship with George was a fate that'd be absolutely impossible under normal circumstances. Second, that the power of the witch was great enough to overturn that fact. Yeah, I read it right. Shannon had just gotten wrapped up in those sweet days and had started believing the illusion that all fate revolved around her. But she remembered the witch's words. Originally, her relationship with George had been impossible. No, it might be impossible in the future as well. Cackle, cackle. Sorry, please forgive me. It's just like the doctors. You cling to them when you're worried about your health, but after you're healed, you forget even to thank them. I've never been thanked as a witch, so I couldn't help acting a little rudely. Forgive me. The gratitude I feel has never slipped my mind. It's thanks to your power that I was able to achieve happiness, Beatrice-sama. Well, if you feel gratitude, maybe you can do something for me back then. Not as like, payment, just because you want to be nice. And without that power, the fate that brought me and George-sama together would never have happened. Man, you really do like George? Really? I have never forgotten that. Sorry. It's not like I came here to bully you. Being rude is just part of my personality. Do forgive me. More importantly, I heard. So you went on a trip alone with... Girl, spill the tea. No, I don't mean the Earl Grey you have. No, spill. What happened? Separate rooms? What are you talking about? I imagine it must have been quite fun. Yes, it was very fun. Shannon's face suddenly lit up. The witch laughed lightly as though amused by the speed of that transformation. Already, the one you care for is more than the object of one-sided love. You are a pair of lovers now. When two people are filled with love, nothing else is needed to establish a complete world. Oh, perhaps you could call that a wonderful, ideal world. Hee. Even witches would be jealous. Beatrice laughed pleasantly. That smile made her look as though she blessed the lovers' rendezvous from the bottom of her heart without a trace of malice. Okay, so my read on this is that it's possible that Shannon wasn't dead then, but she did die on the second Twilight, and we just don't know. Maybe she had, maybe the body of Eva was actually the body of Shannon with a Mission Impossible mask on that they printed with the next to the hologram that projects the fucking witch in front of the portrait. Like now I'm thinking that it's, because that's they're talking about love being torn and whatever, right? So, huh. Oh, Merrick, everyone's using the old chessboard. Maybe we're cursed. Merrick, what do we do? Beatrice laughed pleasantly. That smile made her look as... Oh, I read this already, without trace of malice. After that day, Beatrice showed herself before Shannon every once in a while. Even now, Shannon thought of her as an unsettling being. However, she was also in debt. Oh, okay, the reason why I just said what I just said, sorry, maybe I'm not communicating well, is that I feel like on the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. I don't feel like there was any tearing apart of people who are close, and she keeps saying them that they're close and using the same words here. However, Eva and Hideyoshi are close, obviously, but it doesn't feel like they were torn apart or anything. It doesn't seem like that fits, but it might fit. It might still fit. I don't trust this. This is suspicious to me. That wording seems to me like a love broken apart rather than two lovers killed. That's what I think. So Shannon tried to feel all her might to not surprised or scared. Did I read this line? Even now, Shannon thought of her as an unsettling being. However, she was also indebted to this person for the magic that led to her current relationship with George. So Shannon tried to, with all her might, not to act surprised or scared. That's right. Beatrice-sama, I bought some sweets as a souvenir from our trip. Would you, like to try some? Oh, a souvenir for a witch? It seemed that even a witch who boasted of living for 1,000 years hadn't imagined she'd receive a souvenir from a sweet lover's trip. She likes ice cream. When was ice cream invented? Is this the first time she's been around in 100 years or 1,000 years? I think she said she hadn't spoken to a human in 100 years, but she's 1,000 years old. When was ice cream invented? When she saw that surprised expression, Shannon thought of this witch as a friend for the first time. Aw, they're bonding. Just chilling with the witch on the beach? Beach episode? Beacharichi? Ho ho ho, an Eastern cookie made from wheat flour and lard. Oh, I can't eat it. That sucks. To wrap that in Western chocolate is truly a blending of the Japanese and Western styles. The Silk Road of sweets. What? What's so funny? Nothing? My apologies. You're just very blushy crushy. This witch, who had surely held a terrifying power, was chomping down on sweets one after another, making a sound like a squirrel stuffing walnuts into its mouth. After a while, Shannon couldn't conceal her laughter. A good meal. I should serve you some dulce vita from Nero one of these days. Roses are the symbol of eternal love. I believe a rose dulce would be appropriate for you now.
Dolce.
Dolce.
Dolce. Dolce.
Dolce. The witch was in a great mood, fully enjoying modern candy. Here. I truly am grateful. I believe you've done more than enough for me already, so I'm returning this. The thing Shannon had softly set on the table was a gold-colored butterfly brooch. There's no need to return it. Oh, it turns into a brooch? A brooch? What the fuck? If you continue holding that, your relationship should remain firm in perpetuity. Maybe it was the power of magic that brought us together, but I think only the two of us working together could turn that into something that lasts forever together. Love and roses are the same. Too much fertilizer causes the roots to rot. Some flowers cannot be raised without hard work. In that case, do as you wish. You may wear it or keep it in a box. That is my goodwill, given to you. Having you return it to me won't please me at all. My apologies. That's not what I... Cackle, cackle. No harm has been done. That brooch is already yours. Nice brooch. If you treasured that proof of our friendship, it would indeed bring me some comfort. What are we doing? You may hold on to it and gain its benefits, or you may keep it in a box. If you wish, you Kinzo in the coffin while like Shannon is just giving fucking Beatrice chocolate on the beach and talking about friendship and shit. Like, what the fuck are we doing? If you wish, you may even give it to another who is... Oh shit, I hit the button. who is worrying about love. Or you could simply treasure it. Of course, it would pain my heart if you wasted it. According to Bitriachi, she had appeared, I'm sorry for saying coffin. She had appeared several times in the past in response to a person's summons to give them some tool imbued with magical power. However, when most people used that power to resolve their worries, they quickly grew unsettled by it, forgot their form of gratitude, and threw away the tools they had been given with disgust. So it was quite rare for me to be thanked for my goodwill. In fact, this might even be the first time. Cackle, 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 cackle. The witch laughed heartily, but it looked like a sad laugh in Shannon's eyes. She herself had been like that in the past. No, maybe she was still like that now. Bitarechi was definitely a witch with a strange and terrifying power. Most people probably wouldn't want to stick around her if they could help it. Surely, even those who had relied on that strange power sometimes felt fear rather than gratitude as a result. It must have deeply hurt the witch to have that happen over and over. Okay, so if this is the same timeline, when she saw the butterflies in the hallway, did she go down and talk to Vitarici and Vitarici told her what to do? Because, Battler stonks are going down real hard right now. Since the time she had started thinking that way, Shannon had tried to stop her. Oh, this is her attack. Look, I was here the whole time. Look. You motherfucker. That's good if that's it. That's really good if that's it. That's so good. Since the time she had started thinking that way, Shannon had tried to stop being frightened of Bitarechi. This was surely something that had tormented the witch for over 1,000 years. Maybe she really liked those sweets. Bitarechi, who normally spoke abusively, praised the black tea that Shannon served her and looked to be in remarkably high spirits. We're gonna zoom out at the end of this, and Battler's gonna be in the Clockwork Orange fucking chair with eye drops, and Bitarechi's going, see, this is what happened, see, it was me the whole time, you believe now, right? See, and Battler's gonna look at her and go, no, let me spin the fucking chessboard, and Bitarechi's gonna be like, I love you so much, yes, let's do it. Shannon served and looked into me in remarkably high spirits. After doing that for a while, the witch and the servant grew animated in their discussion of the trip with George. The things Shannon actually knew about Bitarechi were surprisingly few. First off, she was a ghost-like being who appeared in unexpected places at unexpected times, and it seemed that not everyone could perceive that she was there. Apparently everyone had something called a wavelength, and the ability to perceive witches varies greatly among different people. Only Shannon and Cannon could interact with her enough to exchange words like this. There were a few people who could sense her presence, but most people couldn't even feel that much. From what Beatrice said, Kraus and his wife in particular had zero magical talent, and no matter how much she followed them around, they would never notice her. And Beatrice slaps the Battler. See, that's what Miria was talking about in the kitchen. She was right all along. See, this is canon. This is canon. Here we go. You're gonna believe in me now. See, look, it was all established. Here we go. Once earlier, when Shannon messed up and Natsui got really mad at her, Beatrice had started playing around, hitting Natsui on the head with her pipe. I see. That's her headaches. See, it's everything is explained by Bitorici. It's her fucking headaches are caused by Bitorici just being a fucking menace, fucking hitting her in the head all the time. There you go. Everything's explained by Bitorici. Oops, it's all Bitorici. I see Natsui really doesn't notice a thing, but Shannon watching that had to burst out laughing without thinking and had gotten scolded even more. Then what about the master? I hear he's been doing research in magic, so I'm sure he'll be able to notice you, Beatrice-sama. Kinzo is the same. He also has a pitiful lack of magical talent. It's the blood. He has so little talent that I pity him. Huh? As soon as they started talking about Kinzo, it felt like the atmosphere around Beatrice changed. She had spoken about Kraus and the rest's lack of magic talent as though she looked down on them, but she spoke of Kinzo in a different way. Anyone connected to the Ushiromiya family would know about Kinzo's legend of the gold. According to that, Kinzo was given the gold after summoning the witch Beatrice. In other words, she must have some kind of relationship with Kinzo. That was because he succeeded despite having not even a scrap of talent. He kept studying by himself like mad and managed to become a magician. And that's something really incredible, right? Indeed. The witch, who usually looked down on people, was uncharacteristically offering her praise. While she lambasted him by saying he had no talent, she praised his efforts. And then the master summoned Beatrice-sama with the power of magic. Indeed. Well, I only answered the summons on a whim. After all, in this period where magic had long been denied, here was a man who was without a scrap of talent, yet so desperate to succeed. I thought I'd drop by and poke some fun at him, and that's when my luck ran out. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Her choice of words highlighted how much of a disaster this had been for her. Shannon hesitated over whether it would be safe to continue this discussion, but Beatrice continued on her own, ignoring Shannon. Oh, now you're squeaking! Okay. After all, his contract did have a proper format and set of rules. Various procedures were mixed up, but, well, in deference to his enthusiasm, I graciously accepted his contract. She just wants to have fun, man. Then I gave him a mountain of gold, and then the master used that gold and succeeded in business and grew his wealth into what it is today. Indeed, his talent in magic was minimal, but it seems he had a knack for business and gambling, or perhaps it was due to the bravery and madness that led him to risk everything on unreasonable bets. Madness sometimes acts as magical power. I see, if you look at it that way, perhaps it isn't quite fair to say he was completely lacking in magical talent. Cackle, cackle. Shannon felt like she was daydreaming, while everyone in the Ushiromiya family knew the story of how Kinzo idolized black magic, summoned a witch, and received the gold. In actuality, it was all rambling. It was all rambling that no one believed in, and now Shannon was having the story confirmed by the witch herself. She felt a little flustered by this incredible secret that only she knew. It's a secret. She knew, sorry. Once Kinzo gained his vast fortune, he could realize every dream that can be satisfied by objects obtainable in the human world, and in the end, he searched for the truth of this world. The truth of this world? The single element that makes up the world. Kinzo, who had gained everything one can obtain in the human world, searched for that, the final desire humans seek. The single element. She seemed to remember the witch using that word before. When Beatrice saw Shannon trying to remember what that was, she laughed bitterly, waving her hand and saying there was no need to worry. I underestimated Kinzo just a tad. I truly didn't expect him to display such power. And thanks to that, I'm in this state. I've been sewn in place on this island for several decades now, without even a friend to drink tea with. No matter whom I try to talk to, my voice doesn't reach them, and no matter where I go, I cannot do anything. Such boring decades. As she laughed in self-derision, she tapped her teacup with her finger. That's why I just take it to every single night. I just like fly around and just open the windows and turn the lights off, and whoa! By my prediction, in 10 years there'll be computers, and I'll be able to delete everyone's emails. Whoa! It made the light sound of pottery. Shannon didn't know whether the word self-derision was really an accurate expression to describe the look on the witch's face. Shannon didn't understand everything, but she could more or less figure out the situation, and it was probably a topic that she couldn't press the witch on easily, not unless the witch started talking about herself. This is also the same beach where Shannon spoke about the witch before, right? And said she does exist, or some people have seen her, I think? Something along those lines. She seemed positive on it, if I remember correctly, after they read the epitaph. To sum up everything she had said up until now, Beatrice, who had been summoned by Kinzo's magic, could not leave this island for some reason, and she had lost her power and her form, living her days in boredom. During that time, her words had reached Shannon, who never forgot to show sincere respect for the witch, and Shannon had helped the witch regain her power, if only a little bit. As a result, it was now possible for the witch to drink tea with Shannon like this. Beatrice-sama, what in the world was that mirror you told me to break? Ah, that. Long ago, it seems various things happened on the islands around this area. Because of that, malignant forces gathered here and began to draw in an evil distortion. It seems a traveling Eastern magician or something built a shrine for the repose of souls and sealed them in here. That in itself has nothing to do with me, but unfortunately that magical power rested on a different foundation than mine. It created a strong interference with my magic and was extremely bothersome. Is that how it was? And I just assumed it existed only to seal you, Beatrice-sama. I was not its target, but it was a divine mirror. As a result, my power was sealed away. To use food as an example, maybe it would go something like this. Let's say the Western food I ordered is being made in the kitchen. However, when they try to set the table, the area for the guest seating is in the Japanese style with Japanese style dishes. So the kitchen is unable to serve a plate that would be out of place, and no matter how long I wait, my Western food won't arrive. Something like that. What? So if you destroyed that Japanese style guest seating and returned the area to a blank slate for a time, thanks to that, the Western plates will show up. The meal I had ordered was finally delivered, and my power came back, you could say. However, so far, only the aperitif has arrived? The appetizer? It will still be quite some time before the main dish. Is that Italian?
Aperitif.
Aperitif. I'm sorry, a what?
Aperitif.
Okay. It will still be quite some time before the main dish. As I am now, I'm even more fragile, but not that fragile, than a shoe store fairy. Oh. Moo? What's so amusing? I'm sorry. Did the witch just moo? Nothing. I just thought your metaphor was pretty funny. I never would have thought to use a story about food as a metaphor for magic. I thought it a rather skillful comparison, but I certainly didn't expect it to be laughed at. I'm a bit offended. Who are you? A slightly sulky expression rose to the witch's face. It wasn't a strange expression at all to be appearing on the face of some friends as they enjoyed their tea. Although I may not look it, I was known for doing extremely brutal things in the past. I've gotten soft. Now I can even have a foolish discussion while drinking tea with a human. She was probably talking to herself. As Beatrice gazed at the seabirds tracing the horizon, she put her tea to her lips again. I really am that bored. The clouds have come out. When the ocean loses its brilliance, it's nothing more than a gray puddle. You think so? I think the ocean is a beautiful deep blue, even when it gets cloudy. Humph. Maybe the witch noticed the deep meaning behind Shannon's words. She laughed lightly and set down her empty teacup. It seems those things buried in your eyes aren't black pebbles anymore. How is it? Do you see how it feels for furniture to be reborn as a human? Yes. I never knew the world was this kind. Since the start of her relationship with George, Shannon's face had grown brighter more often. Her smile had made everything go smoothly and had even changed her fortune. Shannon made less mistakes in her work than she had before, and the family members' opinion of her was slowly starting to change. Just the other day, she had been surprised when Kraus, who rarely exchanged words with her, had suddenly started talking to her. You've been wearing a splendid smile more often lately, haven't you? Has something good happened? No, not yet, because George won't do it, but every day is fun, yes. Humph. Wonderful. It goes without saying that coffee is more delicious when poured with a smile. Could I ask for that smile once more? Yes, sir. That had become a chance for Shannon to gain confidence in herself. Of course, it didn't go beyond her own heart, and it wasn't so big a change that anyone would notice. But she had begun to change bit by bit. Shannon understood it clearly. Knowing love was the same as gaining soul. Okay, I'm sorry to just like speculate like this when it's just probably a joke, but I will absolutely lose my shit if I'm right and this is like Beatrice telling it an alternate version of events, and Battler counters it by saying, but wait, if Shannon and George had this wonderful relationship caused by you this whole entire time, there's no way she would have agreed to let me fondle her boobs in the guest house that time in the real reality. You're spinning a fart. Like I would absolutely lose my shit. Knowing love was the same as gaining a soul, the same as being reborn from furniture into a human. There was absolutely nothing mistaken in Vitarachi's words. By knowing love, Shannon had learned what it was to be human. These have been unusual snacks. It was time well spent. It's probably about time for you to return to your work. So let us end our tea party now. After all, it seems a certain person doesn't like seeing us drink tea together. Huh? Cannon? The witch gripped a teaspoon and flipped it with her fingers, sending it up in the air. After that, it was launched by the fingers of some invisible person and flew straight into a nearby bush. The bush shook violently and Cannon came out. It seemed he had been there for some time, watching their tea party. The spoon was gripped in his hand. If he hadn't caught it in an instant, it might have hit him hard in the forehead and caused him to start oozing blood. You caught the spoon? Are you a witcher? Do not worry. Our tea party is over now, Cannon. How long were you there? If you had called to us, I'd have poured you some tea too. I imagine that you didn't want to interrupt the pair of women talking, right? Cackle, cackle. Cannon kept silent, but there seemed to be a slightly hostile look in his eyes. On the outside, he acted with respect, but unlike Shannon, Cannon did not trust the witch. When Beatrice hit the table with her pipe, the tea set turned into gold butterflies which flew upwards all at once. They then scattered in every direction, and the cleanup was already done. It was fun, Shannon. Cleaning up for the servant? What? Let's meet again if the chance arises. My magical power is still quite lacking. It's tiring even to show myself. If you're that tired, never appear again. Whoa! What? Cannon had said it in a small voice, but the witch seemed to have heard it perfectly. She giggled, but did not reply. Shannon, tell me more about George and our next tea party. There are no snacks sweeter than a person's love life. Cackle, cackle, cackle. See you again. Beatrice's body also became gold butterflies, which scattered in all directions and disappeared. It was a fantastical and beautiful scene, like a blizzard of gold leaf. For a while, Shannon quietly watched the witch's exit. Cannon approached her from behind and spoke with an expression that was drastically different from hers. Nisan, didn't I tell you to stay away from her? Beatrice-sama isn't that bad of a person. Yes, she might be a little shady, but the fact that only we can see her is suspicious enough. That thing isn't human. Who knows what she might be planning? Kennen-kun, I think that's a little rude. There was a touch of sternness in Shannon's voice, which was unusual for her. To Cannon, who knew her well, she must have sounded extremely stern. Cannon, looking excessively surprised considering Shannon's tone, fell silent. It's true that Beatrice-sama is different from humans. She has a terrifying power, so I think it's right for us to fear and respect her. Still, I think it's incredibly rude to despise her just because she isn't human. I understand what you're trying to say, Nisan. You've changed ever since she gave you that brooch. Brooch. I don't know which one's correct. It's like you're her prisoner. What? No, we're her friend. She's so nice. I understand Maria more every day. She brought you and George-sama together, and now you're indebted to her. Don't say things like that. She's my bestie. That thing isn't human. We don't know what she's thinking, so you mustn't trust her. And we aren't humans either, Nisan. Kanan's words grew more serious. Those words probably gouged at Shannon's heart. She bit her lower lip and hung her head. We are furniture. Even if we receive names and are treated as humans, that won't change the manner of our birth. You are no longer furniture. Those words Beatrice had given her, which had made her happiest, floated through Shannon's mind. I am not furniture. No, you are furniture. We are less than human. Nisan, you're just pretending to have forgotten, pretending to be human. You know that as well as I do. I am not furniture. Okay, so the only ones furniture are from the orphanage? Did Genji say he was furniture? Kumasawa-san didn't. Why did I say san? Kumasawa didn't, I don't think. And I don't think Gura did either. But did Genji? I'm not furniture. I'm human. I think Genji did. And I was surprised. Did I say something like, even you? Like, no, you aren't. We have never possessed what it takes to love or be loved. Cannon's criticism seemed to have shifted away from Shannon's meetings with the witch. Shannon picked up on that quickly. I heard from Milady. Seriously, what were you thinking? I can't believe you would go on a trip with George-sama. You've forgotten your place as furniture. You've just been tempted by that witch, mistakenly believing that you've become human. Listen, Cannon-kun. It's true that we're furniture, lesser beings inferior to humans. But if it were possible to make up for what we lack, wouldn't that be the same as becoming human? Such a thing could never happen. How have you been brainwashed? What is this? No, it could. If we can do that, we won't be furniture anymore. We can become human. Ridiculous. What did the burn witch say? Is that her name? I can't remember what she said. She gave some like hint or clue or something. What the fuck did she say? I'm gonna have to go back and do that scene again. I don't remember anything that she said. Ridiculous, as if you could ever do such a thing. At the end, when she stared at the camera and said something, I can't remember what she said. It was advice though, or something like that. Cannon spat those words out, but did so weakly and turned away. Is it cheating to go back and reread it, or no? He was probably giving up. After all the suffering he'd undergone during those days he'd lived as furniture, his heart was firmly sealed. You can do it too, Cannon-kun. You can become a normal human. No, it's not? Okay, maybe I'll go do that in the stream or the beginning of the next one. Stop it, that's the witch talking. Yes, Beatrice-sama taught me. By obtaining the single element of this world, we can become human. Or rather, nobody's human if they don't have that. That's why people spend their entire lives trying to gain that single element. I don't understand what you're saying, Nisan. I don't want to listen to ranting. Then I'll teach it in a way even you can understand, furniture. Look, see what I'm pointing at? Huh? Do a food analogy! You've learned it from the best! Shannon quietly pointed at the sea toward the horizon. Cannon didn't understand what she meant and couldn't do anything except look between the horizon and Shannon's expression, which seemed to be posing a riddle. The sea. Cannon-kun, what color does the sea look to you? It was an extremely simple question. For a while, Cannon tried to guess at the meaning behind it, but he couldn't think of anything, so he answered obediently. Gray. It's a hazy, dark gray color, so what? Objectively speaking, the sea, laid out beneath a cloudy sky, could probably be described best by Cannon's words, but as Shannon closed her eyes and smiled, she shook her head slightly. It looks deep blue to me. Oh, and to me! Oh, is that what you mean? Like how Japanese people use the word blue to refer to green traffic light? What? No. The sea is deep blue. If I understand and you don't, then that's the difference between us. Cannon bit his lower lip and was silent for a while. I don't understand. Cannon, would you stick out your hand? As Cannon was taken aback, unable to understand what she was saying, she took his arm and opened the palm of his hand. Shannon softly set something there. It was the magic brooch which she had received from Beatrice, and this is also where Maria gave them too, huh? A magic charm shaped like a gold butterfly that could bring love to fruition. Or love to furniture. Poll is a huge majority for revisiting parts on stream when you want to, 95%. Oh, okay, good, cool. Alright, this is hers? No, this is mine. So think of it as me and treat it with respect, okay? After being spoken to like that, he couldn't just throw it away. Cannon didn't know what he should do, and he stood there confused for a while, the brooch still on the palm of his hand. Shannon put the palm of her hand on top of Cannon's, and the brooch was worn by both of their hands. The charm holds true magical power. I'm sure it'll teach you an important emotion, Cannon-kun. There's nothing to be learned from that person's magic. No, there is something, so wear it. If that's embarrassing, I hear it's okay of you just hide it in your pocket. Ridiculous. As if I let the magic of that person lead me astray. Even as he said that, Cannon couldn't be cold-hearted towards something Shannon was urging him to take. In the end, Cannon took it and agreed reluctantly, saying he'd prove that he wouldn't surrender to the witch's power. Shannon smiled and nodded back. I'm sure you'll be able to learn something important from it. And I'm sure you can become human. And when you do, I'm sure this ocean will look like a beautiful blue to you as well, Cannon-kun. Gray is gray. If I become human, will I see Beatrice as blonde in the painting? Gray is gray, no matter how many times you look. That's wrong, Cannon-kun. It only looks like that because you have no... Why? Oh, that's wrong, Cannon-kun. It only looks like that because you have no dick. Huh? Because of the howling wind, he hadn't been able to catch the main point of what she just said. So Shannon said it once more. The single element of the world. She spoke once more of the world where it existed, where the sea was deep blue. I'm sure you'll be able to see a deep blue ocean too. After all, without love, it cannot be seen. Didn't Maria say something with stars as well? Holy shit! Outside the room. Who is that? It is Cannon Master. It was rare for Kinzo to leave his study. However, the fact that he didn't mean didn't mean his normal research had been suspended. He's just gonna walk around until he gets hungry. He may have left the study because of a change in mood, but that didn't mean the thoughts filling his head were any different from those he had while inside the study. Cannon knew that no matter what the time, speaking to Kinzo when he didn't want to be spoken to would always disturb his research. It's cloudy out there. Will it get worse? Why would you, the person who loves the witch, hang out in a room with scorpion things carved into the handles to keep the witch out? That's weird. Yes, according to the weather report, it could rain at any time. Huh. Oh, this was kind of a scene break. Is there anyone I have to say thank you to in my list? Oh, there is quite a few actually. I'm sorry. Thank you, Yuto Naispani. Oh my god, I'm sorry. There's no capital letters here. Am I anywhere in the ballpark with that one? Thank you very much for the resub. Thank you, Uncle Radar, as well. I don't know, lol dude, with the message. Hi Joe, longtime VOD watcher. Just wanted to say thanks for all the streams. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Ubersloth, for the bits. We salute Battler, r/atheism's strongest soldier. Thank you, Clement Prez, for the new sub as well. Welcome, welcome. Also, welcome to Parnik for the new sub. Falzar25 resubscribed at tier 2 with a single Anne Brown cow. Thank you, Falzar. Thank you, Swoosh, for the resub. What's the next non-weeb game so I can stop cringing? What do you mean? This is peak. Really? You don't like this? Huh. I'm enjoying this actually, but I'm not sure if I'm enjoying it because I'm RPing as Battler and having like insane fucking theories that are carrying the whole thing. What is the next non-weeb game we're playing? Signalis. Signalis is not a weeb game. Baldur's Gate 3 is also not a weeb game, so that's coming up. Thank you, Parnik, for the bits. If you like this part so much that even veteran Umi chatters think is very slow, you'll get through the entire game with ease. Umi Pico watchers stay winning. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Thank you, Snipe Hunter 007, for the bits. A pair of teeth Chan or a pot Chan, pronounced a pot Chan. Preemptive chanting. Preemptive chanting. Unless you want to supply the Chan yourself. Red card. Thank you, Nesso Berry, for the resub. Iron Raft for gifting a sub to Furniture Lover. Welcome, George. And thank you, Iron Wrath, for also gifting a sub to Kegu. Thank you, everybody. Yes, according to the weather report, it could rain at any time. Shall I bring an umbrella? It will not come to that. Leave me alone for a while. If my children ask, say that you do not know where I am. I am busy on a journey through my own thoughts. Certainly. Then if you would excuse me. Before Canon finished bowing, Kinzo had already returned to his own world, having forgotten Canon's presence completely, and once again he began rambling to himself. Amidst those words, the name of that witch popped up many times. Are we gonna get to hear it? My hand will not reach your smile. What can I do to revive you? What can I do to make you smile at me once more? What is lacking? My research, my materials, my catalyst? Or is it magical power, or luck, or an oracle? Oh. What can I do to see your face one more time? Oh. As Canon listened to his master's weeping voice with his back turned, he turned around just once. When he did, right behind his isolated old master was the shadow of a person who shouldn't have been there. It was the witch. At once, thinking that the witch must be plotting to do Kinzo some harm, Kennen dashed back to Kinzo and tried to form a shield with his body, but when he saw the expression on the witch's face, that emotion of his vanished. After all, Beatrice's expression was sorrowful, or maybe pitying. Really? You fool, Kinzo. Can't you see me, even though I am here? Right behind Kinzo, as he repeated the witch's name over and over, desiring to be reunited with her more than anything else, was the witch herself. And yet Kinzo didn't notice anything. When Beatrice tried to rest her hand on his shoulder, he didn't notice. Why? Why does my hand not reach Beatrice's smile? Is it the age of the moon, the cycle of the comets, the alignment of the planets? I would say it's because of a lack of love, given what happened in the last scene, but it seems like you really love her, so I don't know. What is lacking? What is? It's useless, Kinzo. Without love. Oh, okay. Thank you. It cannot be seen. Okay. Huh. Canon took the brooch he had received from Shannon out of his pocket. So Kinzo is furniture, too. By learning something new, would he become able to glimpse something he couldn't see now? Without love, it cannot be seen. That's how he was able to hide under the bed! 'Cause he's furniture! He looked at Kinzo's back once more. The witch could no longer be seen there. Mouse. This scene or the next scene? Stop when you see Kraus on screen. Okay, thank you, Mouse. The biggest fall event for the Ushiromiya family was the family conference in October. Oh shit, I'm clicking buttons to make it go forward on the stream. Holy shit. But to Jessica, there was another major event that came before that, the school cultural festival. Jessica likes school. Does she? To her, it was oh, she probably just didn't like studying. Oh, this is a new background. To her, it was a place where she could let out the stress she'd built up from the rigid lifestyle she was forced to lead at home. For today's cultural festival, she'd formed a group with her friends and had announced that they'd perform some light music on a temporary stage. She'd prepared and practiced for this over and over until today, always anxiously awaiting this day's arrival. No, just why don't you just practice with your friends for like one day on the weekend, and then you can just put on a live show, just perfectly coordinated. It'd be fine. Yeah, don't worry. But there was one thing that worried her. She looked at the clock. There was still a little time, but she felt uneasy. Would that person really come? After taking a single deep breath, her heart jumped when all her friends suddenly started speaking in shrill voices. No way! Hina's boyfriend's so awesome, isn't he? Isn't he? Rin's boyfriend looks really smart. Is it true that that guy's a glasses? Is it true that guy's a glasses beast? What? No way, no way. My husband will be a pretty boy. Giggle, giggle. And then in the crowd, Beatrice walking down, you know, elbows interlinked. Yes, girls. How's it going? Collecting all the brooches. She just wants people to have fun. It may not be like this for all girls, but at least at Jessica's school, the cultural festival was really, was basically a boyfriend exhibition. Okay. Jessica didn't have a boyfriend. She had many friends of the opposite sex, but no special, only one. But Jessica was a little famous around the school, and everyone thought it'd be natural for her to have a fitting partner. Furthermore, her pride had led her to pretend that this was true. She'd somehow managed to keep them fooled until this year, but for various reasons she hadn't been able to escape this year's cultural festival. Jessie, is your boyfriend here? Oh, new outfit. What? Oh, okay. Weird that it does this. What? No, looks like he's not here yet. Maybe he's busy with work. So what kind of person is he, Jessie? At least give us a hint. What kind of relationship? What kind of relationship? Awesome, so he's a working man? Will he come in a suit? Of course he'll be wearing glasses, right? Yeah. Hey, he actually doesn't exist, right? No, my boyfriend exists. Why would you say that? Ooh, ooh, if you come clean now, we'll let you join us. Let's cry together through this year's cultural festival. No, he exists, he exists, he exists. I told you, he really exists. Jessica's bitter smile was covered with cold sweat. It was starting to seem doubtful whether she really had deceived her sharp-witted friends. Okay, then how about making a fake boyfriend and taking him with you? Oh, this was Shannon's plan? Planet? No, a fake? Who? I can't think of anyone who'd do that. Shannon's ridiculous plan surprised Jessica into hysterics. Battler would. Oh, that would be so good. Battler absolutely would show up and do this. He would love it. Even so, it was probably more realistic than the crazy methods running through her head about getting a boyfriend in the big rush before the cultural festival. For example, what about Kanon-kun? Oh, okay, that makes more sense. She kind of likes him. Kanon-kun? No way. Anyway, I'm sure Kanon-kun has work on the day of the festival. Actually, he doesn't. And I don't want to bother him. Of course, I've already checked the schedule. Kanon-kun has that day off. Why are you always so clever when it comes to stuff like this? No, wait. It'd be even worse if he's off. I can't pull him away from a precious day off for my own vanity. If you don't pull Kanon-kun away, he'll always be shut away by himself, so I think it'd be perfect if you could drag him out of his shell. You think so? No, but I'd feel bad for him. Then I guess you're out of options. How about meekly confessing to everyone that you don't have a boyfriend? True, it may be terribly embarrassing, but you'd only have to endure for the short and yet long time before graduation. To a pair of lovers, there's no sweeter honey than the face of a single person with an inferiority complex. Inferiority complex. Star. What's the star? An emotion? Shannon! You aren't really worrying for my sake, are you? You're teasing me, right? Jessica wrestled about with Shannon, her eyes teary. Shannon really is different, huh? But Shannon was unfazed, laughing with her usual smile. kind of seeing like almost a decoy in the wallpaper. Yes, this is to get you back for making fun of me and George-sama all the time. Listening to Shannon's comeback, the likes of which didn't happen even once a year, Jessica hugged her cushion and rolled around on her bed, pretending to faint in agony. She couldn't stand Shannon's smile, which looked so triumphant. But right now, she was the only person Jessica could talk with. She could choke her to death with a cushion later. Is it really so bad, milady? It's a cultural festival, but it's also a chance for you to have fun with Canon-kun. No, that may be true, but no. Jessica buried her head in her favorite pillow to hide the fact that her face had grown bright red. And she grumpily chewed the fingernail on her thumb. Aw, don't do that! It really was a reaction to be appreciated. Shannon and Jessica were about the same age, of the same sex and friends, and they were both right in the middle of puberty. They could never talk enough about love. That's why they could talk freely about these topics to each other. So Jessica had heard a lot about how Shannon and George's love was progressing, and Shannon had heard a lot about what type Jessica liked, what kind of man she might be interested in. Judging by Jessica's reaction, it'd probably be rude for us to go into precisely what these things were. However, this story won't get anywhere if we just have Jessica rolling around forever. So let's dive in. Jessica had been sorry, 1 second. Jessica had been thinking about Canon ever since he'd shown up. It was extremely rare for young men to visit Rakenjima. I've forgotten how to say it again. So maybe it was natural for Jessica, a girl in puberty, to develop an interest in Canon. But if anyone said that, it would destroy the romantic ideals of a maiden's pure heart and love at first sight. Shannon had been with Canon a long time at the orphanage, so she'd known him since before they started working, so Jessica had asked persistently about what his hobbies were, what his favorite food was, what type of girl he liked. Even to Shannon, it was clear that Jessica was infatuated with Canon. Come on. Isn't this a good chance to take Canon-kun on a date? Canon-kun might also have someone he likes, so wouldn't he take it badly if I made him go with me just to show off? People who aren't honest with themselves like you are. Sorry. What was that word I learned from George-sama? That's right. I think it was Sundora. Apparently they'll be all the rage in a decade or so. Wow, George Nissan sure is incredible. Managing to foresee future trends like that. Awesome. No, wait. Are you saying I'm living in the wrong decade? Wow, I give up. It took several days of wasted efforts, but in the end, Jessica agreed to the plan of having Canon pretend to be her boyfriend. Yes, milady. Did you call me? Jessica regretted calling out at such a bad time. Canon always looked sullen, but he had some bad days and some better days. Unfortunately, this reaction was the former. No, all that confidence and effort she built up practicing in front of a mirror all night was wiped out in about 5 seconds. Jessica turned bright red and hung her head. When he saw that, Canon sighed. Jessica thought that he was exasperated with her, and her face went pale. I heard from Shannon. This is about having me go with you to the school cultural festival, right, milady? Huh? Nice one, Shannon. I mean, yeah, that's right. But, do you have any plans that day? I was strictly ordered by Shannon to work specially for you on that day, milady. I have never been to high school, so I don't really understand. But I hear... who's teaching you then? But I hear it's a place where girls can be shamed if they don't have a boy with them. And I was given special orders to see to it that the daughter of the Ushiromiya family is in no way inferior to the common people. Well, Shannon, I'll beat you to death later. She will. Jessica kept yelling with a strange voice and a broken smile like a tea kettle filled with boiling water. As Canon watched this, he sighed again. Canon wasn't an idiot either. He fully understood what Jessica intended by inviting him, but to be honest, playing along with Jessica's love game seemed like it'd be nothing more than an annoyance to him. However, Shannon had asked him over and over. He was deeply indebted to her, so he couldn't refuse. And that brooch was in his pocket. Could this strange turn of events have been brought about by the magic power residing in this brooch? And while you're gone, Shannon and Beatrice can have tea on the beach, you know, without you interrupting. Ridiculous. But he remembered what Shannon had said to him that day. Could Shannon see something he couldn't? I don't understand Shannon's feelings. We are furniture, as if we could ever become anything more. It was a truly odd exchange between Jessica, who was still rambling on in a strange voice, and Cannon, who sighed deeply. Amazing pin? Jessica, the kind of girl to find a boyfriend at IKEA? Nice one. Jesse, someone's here. Didn't you hear? Sorry. Oh, and after what the witch did to him, there's even some assembly involved. Nice one, streamer. Sorry. Who is it? As my friends all gathered together, they were looking this way with hard-to-describe expressions, whispering to each other in small voices that weren't small anymore. My attempt to play dumb felt pretty transparent even to me. Did I really just say sorry? Who is it? Like I don't know who just showed up. It's useless. My mind's going blank. No way, that's Jesse's boyfriend? Who's this? He's so cute. Kawaii! Wait, he's real? No way, seriously. Jessica, you traitor. He's incredible. Waffle sat upon. He's younger? I never heard he was younger. Where? Where's Jesse's boyfriend? She's really into little kids? Hey, aren't you late? I didn't know where the entrance was. I must apologize for my tardiness. Right, that outfit looks really good on you. Shannon said normal clothes wouldn't do, so we went and bought this the other day. Does it look strange on me? That's not true. Shannon, when I get back, I'll promote you 2 levels. It feels like everyone here's a girl. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, isn't it? Come on, let's not hang around here. Let's go to the stage, okay? Because I'll be up pretty soon. Come on. Jessica seemed just as uncomfortable. It looked like being bathed in everyone's interested gazes was hard on her. When he saw check characters? You wanted to see this? Why aren't her clothes updated? Huh. When he saw Jessica's appearance, Cannon thought he might have made things difficult for her by coming. I get the feeling I'm getting in the way. Am I being a burden? I told you, no way. Please tell me at any time if I start getting in the way. Yeah, no way, he calls himself Boku. There's no way you get in the way, Cannon-kun. Yeah, she calls her boyfriend Kun. What would you like me to do, milady? No way, she makes him call her milady like a butler. OMG. No, you can't call me milady today. Is that so? As you wish, Jessica-sama. Yeah, she trained him to call her Sama. I know exactly where we are right now. So sorry, Cannon-kun. Could you close your eyes for just 3 seconds? Yeah, it's a kiss. It's a kiss. She's gonna kiss him. As you wish. Bang. Thunk. Bam bam. Slam. Crash. How is this related to Beatrice's plan? Aha, what do you think of this scene, Battler? I'm pretty fucking bored, to be honest. Exactly. Wouldn't it be more fun if the scene had a magical witch that was doing scandalous shit? You know what? You got a point. Maybe I should believe. By the time Cannon opened his eyes, a horrible tragedy had occurred in the room. Everyone had been driven into the walls, their arms and legs outstretched. Jessica had slipped her brass knuckles back into her pocket before Cannon's eyes opened. Anyway, let's go over to the stage. Our turn's coming up soon, so take a seat and wait a bit. What happens? Because we've got to get ready. Go straight to the end here and you'll see a temporary stage. You'll know where to go. Please wait there. Did she just go full Misty on him or something? She pushed Cannon back and he seemed to be having trouble moving himself and chased him out. Even though Kanan was confused by Jessica's attitude and her panicky state, which he'd never seen before, he followed her instructions and headed in the direction she had indicated. After seeing him off with an awkward smile, Jessica slammed the door shut and yelled loudly. There you go, you saw it, right? You saw that. Saw that. Are you happy now? Wahaha, sucks for you! I lost the bet. I was sure Jessie didn't have a boyfriend. Are you sure that was her boyfriend? I'll bet she's just abusing one of her servants, right? Wow, Jessie's boyfriend's incredible. Shut up. Come on, let's get ready. When Jessica took the brass knuckles out of her pocket again, someone in the crowd just spanned the chessboard. Everyone energetically returned to their tasks. Ken went down the corridor Jessica had shown him and ran into a temporary stage setup where the vending machine should have been. It was probably being rented by the hour by some group or club. The ones singing were student groups, but the crowd was still incredibly excited. Disliking that clatter, he leaned against the wall in the darkness by himself. So this is what they call high school. It sure is noisy. That's what Cannon thought. Then he remembered Jessica just now, acting in a way that he'd never seen before. Honestly, she was in such high spirits that alcohol might have been involved. To him, remaining composed and intellectual at all times was the highest virtue. In that sense, it was very hard for Ken to get used to the atmosphere of a school cultural festival. He had a responsibility to report everything he saw and heard to the master, so he also had to report about how Jessica had acted without restraint earlier. At the very least, it was not fitting for the daughter of the Ushiromiya head family. Whoa! The master, Kraus-sama, and especially Natsui-sama, will probably be angry. If I am to report it in a way that protects Milady, should I blame it on inappropriate school friends? How about you mind your business? What was all that? Mindin' my biz. So mind your own biz. So stupid. Kanan thought back on how Jessica had acted earlier and sighed again. He could understand Natsui's headache a little now. Come to think of it, Natsui-sama, as the president of the PTA, was supposed to go to an informal Really? She is? What? Was supposed to go to an informal gathering after attending the ceremony in the gymnasium. She said she wouldn't be able to see Milady's performance, didn't she? That's probably for the best. Crowds certainly are unpleasant. What in the world is going on? Several female students keep glancing at me. It seems they're all whispering the same things Milady's school friends said, and it's truly unpleasant. Come to think of it, didn't Shannon warn me? If you walk alone at something like a school festival, you'd better watch out, because lots of strange people will come and talk to you. Excuse me, are you by yourself? Just as expected, a group of girls I'd never met started talking to me. Their stares started to make my back tingle. Didn't she tell me some magic words that could chase them off in times like this? Sorry, I have a girlfriend. I'm with someone. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Ah, it worked. Instant reaction. Well, that got rid of them, but it hasn't really changed the number of people staring at me. No, it's that kid. That's Jessie's boyfriend? No way! It's that kid? I can't believe it. I was sure he was a fake. Isn't he cute? So he's younger? Lucky Jessie. There's no way I'll ever come to a place like this again. Cannon sighed for about the zillionth time that day. When he did, the lighting changed and the standing audience started cheering. He looked around and realized that there was suddenly a large group of people there, and unlike earlier, they were mostly guys. With this huge crowd, he couldn't even see the stage. Fortunately, there was a fallen beer case nearby, so he tried using that as a footstool. When he did, he realized that there was now a new group on the stage. Their leader is Milady. She's changed into stage clothes and she's even holding a guitar. I didn't know she could play. Then again, maybe she can play. I've seen her practicing air guitar before. Natsui-sama wouldn't approve of any hobbies outside of study. Maybe she was always practicing in secret. Come to think of it, she's been returning really late from school recently, hasn't she? Maybe she's been practicing at school far away from Natsumi-sama's prying eyes. It really is for the best that Natsui-sama didn't come. If Milady were to get scolded by Natsui-sama after putting so many hours of practice in, she'd probably be dejected. Jessie-sama! Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Everyone, thanks for gathering here today. I could hear Jessica-sama's forceful voice through the speakers. Jessie-sama? Maybe that's her nickname at school? The students in the audience kept calling out that name. I'm a little offended by the crude name. It's inappropriate for Milady. Jessica-sama was in high spirits as they kept shouting, Jessie-sama. Everyone here is probably a fan. Her mic performance picked up on that and electrified them even more. It was almost like a music program on TV. At first, he thought this was all silly, but that feeling had changed into appreciation. It was incredible in its own way. Kanon never listened to music of his own free will, but he'd often heard the kind of music the Ushiramiya family liked. Since it was almost all classical, Kanon had naturally taken liking to that kind of music, so to Kanon, the song Jessica sang was, how should you say it? Shit. Extremely sorry, yeah. In any case, if Natsui-sama heard it, she'd probably faint. What the hell is this? But everyone looked like they were having a really good time. Oh, he's gonna like her now after hearing her sing. How pathetic. But everyone looked like they were having a really good time. Some diehard fans who had even brought pen lights sang along and danced crazily with the same movements, almost as though it had been planned ahead. On the stage, Jessica-sama also sang enthusiastically, dripping with sweat. He couldn't find a single element that was appropriate for a daughter of the Ushiramiya family. But it looked like so much fun. Jessie-sama! Just for some reason, I'm getting Hypnospace vibes. I guess it was just all the text that was on the screen. What? They didn't update this one? What the? Again, today, behind me, the sound of footsteps. Oya Shihiro-sama is stalking me. Curses, disappearances. Sacrifices, torture. Onikakushi, does that make a good snack? They did, but we made you install this version instead? What? The bamboozle? What? Don't say Marissa. That's not my name. What? I must not go along with it, but at any rate, Milady is full of life and looks like she's having a great time. As I watched Milady enjoying herself, I thought, could this be Ushiramiya Jessica's true nature? Don't I know better than anyone that during her life on Rokkenjima, she had no choice but to kill her sense of self. So the time she spends, not as Milady, successor to the Ushiramiya family, but as a single girl called Jessica, living life to the fullest must be very important to her. I've worked close to Milady, seeing her in all seasons, and thought I knew everything about her, but that was all limited to one side of her, the Milady of Rokkenjima. We are furniture. We serve on Rokkenjima and end our lives on Rokkenjima. So I've come to think of Rokkenjima itself as our whole world. I'm gonna have to write post-it notes for pronunciation, as though, like in Ptolemaic theory, the ocean spilled off the end of the world into an abyss. Well, first, meteor happened, but when I look at Milady like this, I could see how horribly narrow that outlook is. I still can't go along with the excitement of the crowd, but I feel like I can see something that cannot be seen on Rokkenjima. I'm not sure if this is the unseeable thing Shannon was talking about, but the ocean still doesn't look blue to me. The sea is gray, and so am I. No, thank you, mouse. No, thank you, mouse. No, thank you, mouse. Oh, it's Kraus. Thank you, Kraus. Okay. Kraus in the house. All right. Shannon, damn, it's pretty cold. Kanon, wearing the scorpion jacket from Drive. Yeah, that's why I brought this sick jacket. Wait, hold on. Someone said drive. Someone said drive. 1 second. So 1 second. Boys have no idea what girls go through. What? My favorite movie? Oh, that's easy. It's gotta be Drive starring Ryan Gosling. Seriously? You've never seen the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling? It's only one of the best films ever made. Oh, nothing on Netflix looks good? Well, as a matter of fact, I just happened to have a copy of Ryan Gosling's hit 2011 film Drive here on Blu-ray. Let me just pop it in the player and let's watch. You're welcome for signing this up, buddy. Thank you, Dalmek. And this is why we installed the original music. Anyway, now you can use the rest of time for question mark and speculation. Good luck, have fun. All right, thank you, Mouse. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you, Sushi Parm, for the new sub. Welcome. Thank you, Parnik, for the bits. Patan, Susuru Patan. Is that what they were singing? Thank you, Pinzerata, for the bits as well. Also with the same thing, Petan. Thank you, Tomo Komat, for the bits. 1,000 bits. Since you listened to that song, you are now contractually obligated to play all Toho games /S. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so glad you're reading through this. I really enjoyed it, but for obvious reasons, I can't bring myself to recommend it to anyone I know IRL. Really, Lemon Dread? Really? That bad, huh? That bad? Thank you, Iron Wrath, for gifting a sub to Jesse Sama as well. Thank you, Iron Wrath. Thank you. You just said someone speak a Weeber. Did I? Oh, the Weebery. All right, I think this is the end part. So let me go here. All right, so far, like the last scene was pretty bad, but it was somewhat short-lived. Wait, what? Did I already save it? What's going on? Oh no, it's a different scene with Kraus in the exact same position. Okay. This wasn't as bad as I thought, but if this is not going anywhere with almost every scene, then this is really slow and completely unnecessary. Yeah. Not really that keen on it. Yeah. Okay. Stopping. Yeah, we're stopping a little early. I'm a bit tired, and I'm also being given advice on the best times to stop and everything for the different streams and everything by no one in particular, obviously. No one in particular. Not obvious manipulation at all. So anyway, I'll be back with more Umineko on Saturday, but I think we might want to do two streams of Umineko when Persona's done. Maybe, what do we think? Do we want to do first day and last day, like an Umineko sandwich, like Umineko's the bread and the other stream is the contents, or do we want to do two Umineko streams in a row? Do we want to have Umineko Friday and Saturday, or do we want, because I'm pretty good right now. No, I'm pretty tired actually, but I also had Greg helping me yesterday, so maybe. Raid RT. Is RT live? Let's see who's live. Let's see if we can do some raids. Yeah. Do we like Tuesday? Well, hold on. Tuesday and Saturday is still 2 in a row. It's just got days to split between it. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's do that. Okay, who is live? Is Backseat live? Because sometimes Backseat is live on Saturdays. Okay, it does not look like Backseat is live. If he is, I don't see him. Yeah, Backseat is not live. Let's raid RT game for sure. RT game. Do you want to go back to the Burn Castle thing? Oh, we'll do that next time. Yeah. Sorry, I should have done that right now, but the raid is already going, and I'm not going to cancel it. I'm not going to like jerk everyone around. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. No, it's a little bit of a shorter one, but usually we go overtime, so every now and then we can go under time to compensate and bring the average around the same. Anyway, see you later, everybody. I'll see you on Tuesday for more Persona 3. Or do we want to start Umineko sandwich this Tuesday and own the Persona 3 weebs? And with that thought, I leave you. I bid you adieu. And for anyone still here, see you later.